much. All right, I'm gonna start streaming this.
It clearly took
We're
way
gonna
too long to
scream
change
it.
off Emmy.
We're gonna scream it and stream it.
Oh, we're gonna scream and stream all the way, brother. That's the only way. That's the only way to fly. That's the only way to fly at this point.
And then my headset tells me it's dying.
Oh, nice. Nice. I hope it was a very like sad and meaningful moment between the two of you. Oh wait, it was just the battery beeping. And you were just saying something about, what did you say? You remained as Emmy too long. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I wish I would have changed it sooner because now I've got Emmy solidified in your head.
100%. Even though I know your real name's John, I still defer to you as Emmy. How bizarre is that?
That's fine.
All right. Well, I don't think Battersby is going to be joining us this evening. He had to go to Auckland or had to go out of town, so I think it's just going to be the three or the four of us, the three of you and me. So just to give a quick recap on where we were or where we ended off. Hold on, let me find my notes here.
And Trojan, your mic is muted. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
It came through nice and loud when we needed it most. All right, so just as a recap. So in terms of passage of time, and I did this last time, it's now just, again, point of reference, it's now 14 days since you guys met Maddie, right? So you've been kind of like, involved with this mall or in this region for 2 weeks, even though we've obviously been playing this for like 3 or 4 months now, right? And probably feels longer, but it's only been 2 days. So, as you're all probably well aware, right? I mean, or painfully able to remember. Hold on, let me bring up the map. There we go. So, just to summarize, right? So, you'd found this mall. You had been staying at the mall and kind of like turning it into your own place for a bit, and then some people turned up from a local town. You all moved to the farmhouse where you'd been with those psychos in order to turn that into a farming area. You'd only been there for a couple of nights, and then the town got attacked, right? So you came down to Georgetown, and there's been some drama, but essentially a bunch of bikers have kind of like upended the town, right? Bikers is probably the wrong way to put it, but like some bandits or some raiders have really upended the town and caused some kind of heartache. So they're there at the moment, or they have been there, I should say, and they instructed everybody to leave them, like food basically as tribute, right? So you guys went down to help out, and then where we last left off, the townspeople were trying to figure out what they were going to do, right? If they were going to stay or they were going to leave. And then like a procession of 5 bikes and 2 transit vans, or 2 kind of like, vans, turned up in the town. The leader, who is this guy that's circled in red here, almost comically got off his bike. By the way, he had a white flag on his bike. Almost comically, he got off and said to an old lady outside of the church, "Take me to your leader," and she pointed at the Steves, right? So this is one of them. I don't know if I have an icon set up for the other guy. So you guys are on the steps of the church. You were standing around talking to Steve. You now have this lunatic that's in the town, and he's got a bunch of his people with him. He kind of, and again, just more kind of like getting you back to where he was. He kind of wanders up to Steve and he looks at all of you as he's wandering over. He doesn't seem particularly hostile or aggressive, but he's obviously weighing you up. And he walks up to Big Steve here and he says, "So, you in charge, big man?" And Steve kind of gulps and says, like almost panicking, says, "Well, that kind of depends. What do you guys want to do?"
I'm going to start walking over towards that conversation.
All right, beautiful. So let's assume. Can you move? Can you just confirm that you can move yourself?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. So let's assume that, and in the rules as written, it basically says you can only play one character at a time, right? So, hey, Minia, nice to see you. It says that you can only play one character at a time, but just given that we're testing out the rules, what is Bull Punyon doing at the same time?
I'm not positive. I kind of resigned myself to Emmy, but if he's doing anything, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what he was doing before we left. Was everybody still rousing up and working their way to the church? Because if that's the case, he's probably maybe on his way, especially after he heard the noise of the bikes.
Yeah, no, you guys were all there, right? And I know it's been like a month or so since we played. I probably should have recapped better. So you'd spent the morning going backwards and forwards with like the 13 or 14 people that consider themselves to be elders of the town, right? So you've gone backwards and forwards. A bunch of people wanted to leave. Excuse me. Some other people wanted to give tribute to these guys in the hope they'll leave them alone, and a bunch more of them wanted to fight. So you guys had just been kind of going through like the different options when you heard the noise of the bikes approaching. So you all went and stood outside. So Bull would have been with you, like unless you feel he was doing something else. He probably, like most of the group, probably would have been inside the church listening to the discussion.
Yeah, that's fair. He's probably next to me or probably in the doorway, maybe just inside.
All right, beautiful. So, Luther, are you in the same position? Would you have wandered off? What had you been doing?
I was hoping to like hang way back and keep a low profile, just to so I can kind of check them out while them not really looking to me as like a threat.
Yeah, no problem. So, one thing, I know that I have you up in the icon dressed this way, but are you still dressed as a cop? Do you have like a sheriff's badge? Are you dressed like you are in the icon, or are you much more kind of subtle?
Well, I was actually thinking about that at one point. I would only stay dressed as a cop if I thought it would benefit me in some sort of intimidation or authority way. But as soon as that dropped and everybody was like, "Yeah, we're done with that," like that would go. So I don't know if we're there yet, or does it still hold some sort of weight? Even though officially it doesn't mean anything, but visually it doesn't mean anything to anybody.
Hi guys. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I got permission to ask a question.
Of course,
I
go for
was
it.
wondering if it's, and I'm so sorry. It sounds so bad, but I remember one time you guys had like a pre-made kind of character sheet. I was wondering if you could make one up, and maybe I could play with you guys on Monday because I want to get in on the sweet action finally.
Yeah,
Yay.
100%. We've got some. I mean, 100%. And if you want to jump in this evening, like, go for it. Like, I mean, there's really, it's so easy to set up characters and get you going. So I don't know if you're sick or whether or not you've just been smoking a ton of cigarettes. But like, if you're ready to jump in this evening, we're ready to have you. Like, entirely your choice.
She's been
So
sick for
I'm
like
about to say
a
because
week and a half.
I'll start coughing like every 5 minutes because I don't know if it's bronchitis, but but anyways, I just wanted to ask that question and say hi, and I'm just gonna snoop in here.
So I just linked you. So we have a bunch of pre-gens, right? So there's a bunch of characters there that you can look at. We can also walk you through rolling up a new character, and we can also literally with the click of a button we can create a new character, right? So whenever you're ready to jump in, we would love to have like one more voice, right? So whenever you're ready, if it's this evening or another time, like open and standing invite whenever you're ready, okay?
Okay, and thanks a lot, Grumpy. Okay, all right, awesome. I will take a look at it, and okay, I'm gonna lurk now.
All right, beautiful. And
Bye, guys.
he's great with the random advice, so thank you. Like, he's right. They made the mute button for a reason. All right, beautiful. So Luther, to answer your question, I kind of think that actually I'd throw it to the group because I know I have pretty strong opinions of it. Like Trojan and Emmy. I mean, what would you, if you saw someone in this setting, if you met someone that was dressed as a cop, what would your feeling be?
I think initially maybe seeing the former life, there at least would be some sense of morality, unless he took it off somebody. But kind of like we ran into with Freedom on the Rocks, I still feel like that there's some value in it. I mean, especially seeing how this town is now, it would definitely be worth keeping. Seeing as there's a bunch of old people and people who don't know how to use a gun.
All right, I'll keep it for now, but I'll play it by ear.
So, hey Luther, make a stealth check and get a +2 C mod. I'm just kind of I actually just want to make sure the system's working without Farmer Battersby
Right.
here, keeping it mudging it along.
Ooh, that might be a good thing.
With a 2 mod.
Yeah, +2. Yeah, you made it. So, you had plenty of opportunity seeing this little like mini convoy because again, there's 5 motorbikes and 2 vans. So seeing this little mini convoy coming out the road, it wasn't too difficult for you to slip out. So you can basically put, I mean, not that we're going to combat at the moment, but like you're basically wherever you want to be in this environment to observe without being observed.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly where I want to be.
All right, so Trojan, before we get to you, so I don't know if you guys remember, but crazy Farmer Battersby wanted to overlook the house, so he hasn't really, or the church, so he hasn't really been with you. And the last I remember from Matt wanted him to be in one of these houses because these are houses opposite from the churchyard, right? So right now, Farmer Battersby is up in the second window, and he's got like a bead. He's got his hunting rifle, and he's overlooking the action, and he's kind of watching all of these guys with his gun. Trojan, what are you up to?
Uh, 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 oh, I'm just sort of overlooking what's going on with the bikers stuff. Yeah.
All right. So no problem. So you and Battersby have taken a leaf out or a page out of the same book. All right. So all right. So now we've established where everyone is. So this guy again, he wanders up. He's almost like comic book villain in his joviality, right? So he starts with like a false apology. He comes up again. He's asked Steve, "Are you in charge?" Steve has nervously said, "That depends." Emmy is sidling closer. As I understand it, Ball, her bodyguard, is kind of following along behind her. But this guy says that his name is Sam, and he points to one of the guys behind him, like one of these bikers, this fella that's over here, and he says his name is Jurgens, and he blames him in a good-natured way, and he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, this guy was way over enthusiastic. Like, I just told him to come and make contact with the town, but like he took it to an extreme." So he says he's here today to start fresh with the town, right? Like he's not looking to have you in under his thumb. He's not looking to terrorize you, but he does make it clear that he's been watching you all now for a while, and he's pretty sure he understands what's going on in the town, like the strengths and the weaknesses. So he makes it clear that again, like he's not here to threaten you, but it sounds kind of like a threat in and of itself, just him telling you he's not here to threaten you. And then he kind of he makes a little joke about, and this little ambush that you've been preparing is just adorable, right? So if you guys remember, you'd gone out and you found, I forget the name of them. Zero found the name of it, but like those the tire piercers, whatever they were called. So you guys have been trying to set up and move some cars and stuff. So he's obviously been watching, but he's kind of like, again, he makes a joke about this ambush is just adorable. He also goes on to make it very clear that. He just starts kind of joking. He's like, I know everything about this town. Like, we've been watching you for a while, but like, we're an enigma to you, right? So, he goes a little bit backwards and forwards like a pendulum in his personality, where 1 minute he's kind of threatening, next minute he's really jovial. And he says, so look, the balance of power is pretty clear here, and I'm guessing you don't want to put it to the test, right? And he's addressing Steve and Emmy, because Emmy, I'm assuming that you're standing pretty much next to Steve at this point. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So again, like he says, like balance of power seems pretty clear to me, right? I got a bunch of combat ready guys. By the way, how many combat ready people do you have? He kind of says that to Steve, and he looks at you, Emmy, when he says it. Any response to that, or are you going to treat it as a rhetorical question?
Trying to think how to do this. I'm sorry, what was your name again, Richard?
No, Sam Cox.
Oh, another form of dick. Sorry. So you're the one that's been here terrorizing this place the past week or so?
I couldn't get my mic off mute. Can you say that again?
So I was gonna joke. I was gonna make a dick joke.
So that's what I was responding to, but I put myself on mute and I double muted, right? I'm guessing that was your internal monologue rather than that you're actually like this biker with like, a bunch of like armed people with him. Like, you're not really, are you really insulting him? That would be awesome.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh, so you're a different kind of dick. So you're the one that's been around here for the past week or past month, actually, because the other attack was what, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, no, like, I mean, he says, no, you got us all wrong, right? He points in the direction of the McDonald's that was burned down. I don't know if you remember that, but that was like someone just kind of torched that in the middle of the night. It was like, hey, that wasn't us. Like, we're here to protect you. Like, we're just trying to get civilization back on the road. But that just proves you need our help, right? That just proves you need some protection going around here. Because, like, that wasn't us. But that could have been your homes, right? If someone was able to, but we saw that from the distance and we actually thought it was you guys having a big bonfire. So he seems to be disavowing like any kind of like knowledge of that.
Can Mina get a invite to the Roll20?
Oh, for sure. Hold on one second. Hey, so keep talking while I'm getting this invite to her.
Okay, yeah. So are you sure your last name's Cox? This kind of sounds like it's maybe Soprano. So that wasn't you, and that was just us having a bonfire. Got it.
Yeah. He says, like, I mean, this is the thing, like, this has become a really dangerous world, and that's why we're here, right? I mean, you're not really sure how to take this, right, or how to take him, but this is he's disavowing knowledge of it, but at the same time, he's got that look in his eyes, like, you fucking know it was me, right? But like, he's just not admitting to it.
And you said there's 7 people here, roughly?
There's 5 people on bikes and there's 2 vans, right? You haven't seen
at least 7.
Yeah, you haven't seen any. You don't know what's in the vans or who's in the vans, right? But these 2. But from what Steve had told you previously, they turned up once before. Some lunatics turned up once before, and they had a van like this, right? And that's like before you'd met with these guys, they turned up. They took a bunch of supplies, they killed a bunch of people, and they drove away. Like it was like a kind of like a raid one evening. So this van to Steve and some of the other people looks familiar, but who knows? Maybe it's just another black van.
Okay, so does this mean with the vans you brought here, you're coming to peddle your wares? Or your services?
Yeah, when he says that, he's like, services. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, right? So he clicks his finger, and like the back doors of the van's open, right? And there's 2 people sitting inside, or a person in each van with a like an M60, right? So they've got these very heavy weapons. The guys are on their bikes. 2 or 3 people come out of each side of the van. So now suddenly there's like a dozen or so people that are kind of like in the church. And he says, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, offering our service. He said, as you can see, very heavily armed, very well trained. We can either work with you and you can reward us for keeping you guys safe, or we can just take every fucking thing that you have in this town and we'll see how many of you are left standing at the end of it. Which way do you want to go with this?
Well, that's a hell of an intro you got there. Starting your negotiation there. Terror works phenomenally.
He laughs and he jumps in and he was like, hey, I'm just trying to prove I'm a man of my word. I'm trying to show you I have nothing to hide. Except this is just a selection of my guys, but I'm just being honest. There's no backhanded deals here. And again, in his twisted mentality, you get the sense that he's really trying to do the right thing and just be honest with you by showing you don't have a negotiating position.
So you're coming to solve a problem, whether you created it or didn't create it. I gotcha.
Hi,
Either way, you're going to solve a problem.
We're just here to offer protection. We're just here to try and help you guys. Like, he almost laughs. He's like, I'm not entirely sure what's so difficult about that to get your head around, but yeah, there you go.
Well, what's so difficult is if the offer is either accept your services or you're just taking everything anyway. So why not just go ahead and take everything anyway? Are you just trying to save the ammo? Because if you're so well regulated and so well trained, surely you have more than enough ammunition that taking out this entire town wouldn't be a problem for you.
Yeah, he kind of laughs and he pats you on the shoulder and is like, "See, she gets it." And like, I mean, he kind of implies that everything you said is absolutely true, but for all the wrong reasons, right? So, he says to you, "Look, we could take all of this stuff, but here's the thing: this is we don't want to take, we don't want to kill, we're not looking to destroy. We really are looking to rebuild. So we'd much rather work with you guys and make sure that you have what you need and that you're healthy going forward, rather than just come in here and kill all of you." But he looks back at his guys and then he looks at you, Emmy, and there's just no mistaking how serious he is when he says to you, "Hey, if you want to play this the hard way and if you want us just to kill you and take everything from you, we can do that as well."
All right, what's the fee?
Half of everything you've got, we come back once a month.
You see, I've been there before, and that's what's going on. Well, actually, I'm not going to say that. Well, I've heard that before, but let me ask you this. How many other places are there around here that we need protecting from? Not saying I'm not taking your offer, but how many things around here do we actually need protecting from?
He looks at you, and again, he's got this big smile on his face. He's like, "Hey, there's a big, wide world out here. We seem to find someone every day that's trying to kill us, who's asking us to kill them. So I don't know. Like, what do you define as being a problem? What do you define as being danger?" And he starts laughing. He looks back at his guys, and he's like, "This guy or this gal, right?" He's kind of like demeaning you a little bit,
Mm-hmm. All right, let's say, for example, let's say you go ahead and take everything from here. What happens next? You going out looking for other areas like this where you're just going to keep doing the same thing again and again? What happens when everybody's gone? Where's your food coming from?
We haven't gotten to that point yet, right? And right now, there's still a lot of military supplies that we can get a hold of. We're not trying to extort you. You seem to misunderstand. We really are trying to build a community with you, but you just got to pay for us to protect you.
Oh, okay. The greatest thing ever is being told I have to do something.
Yeah.
So you think there's enough places around here? You don't think eventually you're going to need some people who can actually do some hard work for you instead of just coming and finding someone who's got stuff for you?
So he looks at you and says, "It sounds like you're trying to strike a deal."
Yeah, something like that. Are you the person that can make that happen, or am I talking to the wrong person?
He kind of, again, he gives you this, your character. I mean, Emmy's what, like early 30s, late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he gives you that look, right? He's in his early 50s. You get a sense from this guy that he's, all he's doing. I mean, so again, without giving you too much away, this is a career military man that's been a mercenary for like the last 5 or 6 years before all the, the disaster started. So he's very well positioned to ride this out. He has the skills, he has the abilities, and he has like no fucking conscience at all, right? So he gives you one of those looks where he's just kind of, you can't decide if he's going to try and kidnap you or eat you or just shoot you here and now, right? But he's got kind of like a curious look on his face where he's like, "So exactly what are you saying?"
Let's put it this way. I've been doing this for a while before all this crap went down. Let's just say I'm the one that talks to your boss who tells you where to go, shoot, shit, and eat.
So
I make deals like that all the time.
he has like a whole kind of like, "Excuse me," kind of look on his face. He says, that's a pretty bold statement, young lady.
Yeah, well, when you hang around enough politicians and BlackRock types, you get this. You turn out like me.
So he's looking at you with a little bit of difference, right? And you, by the way, you can feel like Steve is inching away from you, right? He's not doing it all in one go, but he's like ever so slightly starting to move away because suddenly he's not the target of like Cox is like staring him down, right? So he's not leaving you to it, but he's got about the same distance from you on one side as Bull Punyon has on the other, right? So you really are the sole focus of his attention. All right, let me stop there for a second, because I feel like we've unintentionally split the party. Luther and Trojan, while this is going on, because this has gone from a very tense and scary scene to just a tense and interesting scene at the moment, right? So it doesn't feel like anyone's going to immediately get shot dead, even though there's still a bunch of like heavily armed lunatics in your town. So again, Luther, Trojan, and Mina, I'm not sure if you saw it, but I put Alina up in the very, like, if you look very north, there's another character, one of the pre-gens that was on the web screen. So if you're on the website, rather. So if you want to play, you're in, you just move her around. But Luther and Trojan, are you doing anything? And Luther, specifically to you, because Trojan, I think, is in one of the houses. But Luther, what are you up to?
Oh gosh. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to put a bullet in him.
I don't blame you.
Just to, I don't know, say no deal. But that's sort of where my head's at, and I haven't made up my mind on that.
Okay, so you might be trying to take a pot shot at him. Is that right?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay, interesting. Hey, Luther has more balls than I gave him credit for. Okay. Well, I never underestimate one of the boys in blue, so I didn't mean it quite that way. But I'm just super impressed that you're a lunatic. All right, hold on one second. Let me see if I can fix up this next screen. All right, so again, going back to Trojan. Sorry, buddy. Anything going on your side? Anything you want to be doing?
Not really. Just, yeah.
Still observing, just seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, so Amy, really back over to you, right? So Cox is kind of leaning back on the, I mean, again, not to forget, his bike is parked in the street, right? So he's kind of here with you. So he's still leaning back on the seat. I mean, it still has the big garish yellow or white flag, rather. What is the discussion you're having with him?
I'm actually taking a note out of you and Matt's book talking about the diversity of players and stuff like that. So I'm kind of gearing the conversation to the points like, okay, well, what's next? You wipe us out. You get our stuff. You move on to the next place. You wipe us out. Wipe them out. You get their stuff. What happens when there's no one around to take stuff from?
You know, so there's a very active back and forth, right? And in his position is that he doesn't really see anything changing, right? So, like, I mean, from his perspective, he said that, last reports he saw, 75, 80% of humanity was expected to die. He says there was a lot of food that was stockpiled. You just got to know where to go and look for it, right? So he says that almost to be dominant, but then he says to you, almost conciliatory, he says, hey, but that part you might be putting too much emphasis on. We really are looking to build a community, right? He said, and he kind of like he's not exactly flirting or trying to be charming with you, but he makes a comment of like, a lot of military guys doesn't make for a lot of fun in the evenings, right? So towns like yours, when we stumble upon them, we're not looking to come in here and steal stuff. We really are looking to just try to make friends, right? And again, he gives you that kind of creepy look when he says you're like looking to make friends, right? Kind of gives this pretty young thing like a creepy look. But again, like he makes it clear that or at least you do get the sense that if he's being honest and truthful, the goal for him and his team is not to wipe people out.
So I kind of get the sense he's being not quite as arrogant as he was when he walked in.
Yeah, like he expected to walk, like if we're just being, in fact, make a perception roll before I give everything away. Oh yeah, perfect. All right. So just given your experience, right, and given your dealing with like alpha males, you get the sense that you have disarmed him, right? The he really wasn't expecting to come here and have a negotiation. He's used to dealing with scared survivors that don't really want to fight back and don't have any training, right? Exactly. So suddenly you see it with this spunky young thing that from this icon seems to be holding a clipboard, right? And she seems to be out talking everybody else in the town. I should also point out, right, even though there's like 7 or 8 icons on the screen, whatever it is, there are like 2, 3, 4 dozen people in the town that are watching what's going on, right? So this is like almost like, the old Wild West Shane where everyone's standing around as the bad guys like, pick up the gun, right? So it's like one of those moments. There's a ton of fucking people watching what's going on. But right now there is very much a dialogue backwards and forwards between Emmy and Sammy Cox.
All right. I guess in a stern matter, I'm going to say, you know what? I think it is kind of, maybe stern's not the right word. I'm trying not to be a jackass about it. That's the point at this point. Convey in a more positive manner, but still like a very serious, maybe not arrogant tone that, you know, exactly, we were trying to do that too, trying to rebuild the area. It's got to start somewhere. You know, food spoils just like people do. Um, these reserves aren't going to last forever if you even know where they are. I'm sure you've got some good intel going around here, figuring out where stuff is locally, but you know what? Sometimes it's going to run out, and being a jackass all the time and acting like it's the 1920s again isn't going to serve you all that well if you're really trying to rebuild.
So he says, "I'm listening," right? And again, he's obviously like, and to be clear, he still feels that he's in a position of power, right? So there's, if anyone's going to stop and count them, there's like 13, 14 of these guys, and not including this fella, right? Everyone's heavily armed. None of the bikers have taken their helmets off. So everyone's like pretty intimidating at this point, right? So again, he feels very much like he feels this is so funny. I don't know if you can see this in chat, but like I'm getting messages saying Robert Bird rolls on the table.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
I'm not doing that, right? I think it's hilarious that's happening, but that isn't me doing that, right? So I feel like Matt is in the background just fucking with the system somewhere. But anyway, so he feels that he's in a position of power here, right? So when he says he's listening, like he's looking to you, like right now you're talking in vague generalities, right? About how like there's got to be more at hand. Like he's here, like from his perspective, he's here to deliver an ultimatum, and the ultimatum is, hey, tomorrow is the deadline, right? I'm being here all friendly and charming. And let's assume that he worked this into the conversation up front. Like, hey, I'm being all friendly and charming, but like we got to deal with you guys. We're expecting the supplies by tomorrow night. No, Luther, no relation to Larry Bird. So although he might be having a break point as well, who knows? So he kind of says over to you, right? I mean, he's looking at Bunyan, he's looking at Steve, he's looking at you, he's looking around. He's open to negotiations, but right now, like he's willing to take what he can get by force. Because even though you're presenting a compelling argument, it's not all that clear whether he cares or not. You know?
Okay. All right. Well, how about this? How about we do a little bit of good faith interaction here? How about this? How about you take one of those trucks, one of those vans, and we'll give you a van full instead of the two you were probably expecting, and you go talk to Brass, and you see if you could entertain some guests, and let's talk about these plans to rebuild.
So, let's assume that the stuff, and it's funny, let me just switch to this different map. I don't have it properly set up. I had, unfortunately, too busy a day at work, but I'd created a larger map, and I just don't have everyone on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought we were going to, again, like, I don't know if we're going to move to combat, but I was trying to get all this set up. So again, this fella is here, obviously. This is the opening to the church here. So, Emmy, let me get you over there because you and Steve have been standing there. And again, we just got a bunch of spectators and a bunch of people. Luther, I'm not entirely sure where you were. Battersby is in the house that he should be in over here. Let me get Trojan. Let me double check that it's assigned to you. So let me get all these characters on the screen. But let's assume that, as I said to you, they've thrown up a couple of tents in this area, right? This big pasture, this big field rather from the church. They've made this into their, communal area, right? So this is inside of the church and outside. This is where they've got set up. So they do have some of the supplies ready to go. So if you're serious about it, Emmy, you could tell Steve to get some of the villagers to load up one of the vans.
Yeah, I'm in a position where meta-wise I should have known they were going to catch us off guard. But anyways, they caught us off guard. And trying to be a little bit of the diplomat here, but not give up too much ground. I'm totally offering a van full of supplies. For, in exchange, a meeting.
In exchange for a meeting, did you say?
Yeah, a meeting, something, with someone who's more important than him.
So there is no one, right? So, at that point, like, I thought you were kind of joking when you said that earlier to him, right? But if you push that point, he will very clearly state that he's in charge, right? This is his group,
Okay.
right? This is
All right,
like
then
there
I will
is
do
no
that.
one above him, right? The only
Sure.
person above him, and then he points to the ground and says, "Is Lucifer," right? So trying to like act all like tough guy, but like there's from his perspective, he doesn't have a boss.
Okay, then instead of still offering the van, but in terms of still a meeting to see what he has in mind for this whole rebuilding.
Yeah, so you know, he makes it clear he doesn't think this is on him, right? He appreciates the stuff, and he says, you know, this conversation's nice and all, and I'm willing to come back tomorrow and have a powwow with you guys and talk about what the future look like. But right now, you know, it's almost like not exactly cut your losses, but like you're supposed to do with a cat, always leave them wanting more, right? So him and his guys are going to take this stuff and scoot and get out of there. But he's going to come back tomorrow and have a longer discussion. You've caught him off guard, and he wasn't prepared to have this discussion.
Okay, that sounds fair enough. They're going to be back tomorrow regardless. So
Correct.
yeah, I'd give him a van as a show of good faith.
Yeah. So all right. So this guy and all of his troops kind of like they roll out. So, you know, as he's leaving, he kind of moves his way over to the steps, and presumably like Steve is still there with him. But he kind of comes up and says, like, you know, he shakes your hand in a very dainty way. And then he gives Steve like a fist bump, right? And he's like, hey, pleasure doing business with you guys. Talk to you tomorrow. And then he wanders back on his bike and he gives a, you know, like a wagons roll kind of signal to his guys, and everyone drives off now that they've loaded up one of the vans full of stuff. So it's just you and the townspeople left. So Steve looks at you before anyone can say anything. They're literally driving away, and he says to you, to Emmy, okay, you've now made us their slave forever. We're going to be like they think we're soft touches, right? Like, I don't know what you think you're going to negotiate with this killer tomorrow, but they're not going to let us go, right? Now that we've shown them a sign of weakness, they're just going to come back and keep bleeding us dry. So, like, he's not impressed with obviously not impressed with your strategy.
That was Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to turn around shouting at him, telling him if he changed his pants before he came to me with that phrase he just spoke at me.
So, make an intimidation check and
oh yeah,
and have a +1 there.
Oop, okay, thing out of the way. Oh. Wow. No, I'm re-rolling that one. Confirm. I am pissed at him. Are you serious? I got an extra 1. Oh.
Hey, keep going with those dice rolls if you like. I mean, this is super entertaining to watch.
That's
wow.
Trash. I got a 1 again. No, I went down.
Wow. Oh.
Hold on. I'm going to give you back a wild dice because of that. That felt like weirdly punitive from the system. Not from me. Like
no, that's
nothing,
fine.
right?
I want to roll with it. Go ahead. I want to honest this. So let's go.
Okay. All right. So Steve shouts back at you, right? I mean, this hasn't worked, right? And also, he looks around and he sees all these people in the street that are looking at him, and he realizes that he's losing, whatever position of power. And you have to remember, and again, a month or 6 weeks ago, when you first met him, he was super pompous, right? So the last couple of days have shaken him, right? So he went from feeling like he was the king of the region, right? And feeling like he could boss you guys around in the mall, feeling like he'd done you a favor, to now being shown up in front of his people by you. So that, your attempt to intimidate him doesn't work. And he comes back at you and starts shouting about, like, you've just traded our life away because you felt like you had to show off who was the big man on, even though you're a lady, who was the big man on campus. So your intimidation tactics haven't worked with him at all.
I'm going to slap him. What CMOD are you giving me for that?
Oh.
What are you attempting to do with the slap? What is the slap?
I'm just going to slap him in the face. That's all I'm going to do.
Oh, like, how about it? That's a +1 CMOD. He's actually +2 because he's just leaning in, right? I mean, like, he's presenting his big old jaw as big a target as could be.
He's doing a Chris Rock.
Or is it not because we're not in combat?
Wait, say that again.
Oh, I went to go do it, and I'm getting a no attribute was found. Is it because we're not in combat, and I shouldn't have done unarmed attack?
Okay, so hold on one sec. Yeah, so let's just roll it the old-fashioned way, right? So you have physicality, you have nothing in unarmed combat, so it's 2d6 plus 2.
Okay.
Okay, so you slap him unless you change that slap into his fist. The only damage is to his pride. So,
nope, that's it. Just slap.
Yeah. So you bring him to his senses, such as it is, right? So he doesn't know what to do next. He's obviously he hasn't degenerated to the point where he's going to hit a lady, but he has got this big gaping hand mark on his face. So he says to you, I'm going to go and find Bald Steve, and wanders off, right? So he kind of, leaves you and heads to his house.
While he does that, I'm going to shout at him in the distance that at least I had the balls and the wherewithal to actually stand up and have a conversation.
Yeah, he does a whole kind of and runs off into the distances, right? Like kind of like my 8-year-old does, my little daughter, when she's making a point, right? So
now leave, or I shall talk to you again.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for the Monty Python reference. So, so you guys are, so what are you guys doing, right? Steve's wandered off. The lunatics have gone. It's basically, there's a bunch of city people around, but it's basically the group now. What do you guys want to do? What are you discussing?
I want to really talk. So, are we getting the heads up of what the conversation was about? I suppose.
Yeah, if they meet up with me, I'm going to tell them all that they didn't hear. And if I'm going to bring up a point, did anybody at this point, were they close enough to have a good description of the guy he pointed out that was watching us? Because I want to talk about him.
Wait, which guy?
Sam had pointed out to Garrett, whatever bumfuck name he had, was watching us and about our ambush, so he clearly knew what was up.
Oh, yeah.
The conversation I didn't get to have with Steve because he's a bitch.
You could get Luther to chase him to the house and drag him back. It really depends on what you want to do.
No, I'm sure we'll have a council meeting later, and I can bring it up in his face again.
You might be the head of the council. So Battersby is also wandering over, right? So yeah. Battersby is he's been trying to lip read through the sight on his hunting rifle, and it's not working. So he comes over and says, in a very typically dour way, kind of like, well, that looked like it was fun. What happened? So presuming you're bringing him and Luther up to speed and Trojan and so on. So they're coming back the next day. So Battersby says to you, so do you have a plan, or are you just trying to get us further and further into trouble?
Well, it sounds like they didn't really know much about the farm unless they've been watching that too. So that's why I'm really curious about the dude who's been watching us. And I want to radio William and see if he's had anybody show up at the farm.
Excuse me.
So,
go on, Luther.
I wanted to really talk about how they knew about the ambush planning. Do they either have a spy here in the group, or are they watching from a distance somewhere else?
One of the guys on the bike, Sam had pointed out, had been watching us, so they literally watched us put it together. And it seems like, especially since Steve was pretty caught off guard when I asked him about a spy inside, they were probably outside casing us and just watching us put it together.
Because if that's the case, we got to find out where that's happening and make sure we've got eyes to make sure if we are planning stuff like that, that we're not being watched. Because that's
right, and that's why I want to radio William and see if he's had anybody show up there.
So nothing from William, right? So you're able to. Sorry, and I was on mute there for a second. You're able to get in touch with William. He says it's all quiet at the farmhouse. And when you ask him, you can kind of hear it in his voice. He has an uh-oh tone of voice, right? He's like, "Why? What's going on down there at the town? Because nothing's going on here at the farm."
Okay, so either they don't know about it yet, and I stress yet, because if we decide, as much as I would love to just upend this and say, screw these people, someone's going to talk, obviously, and everybody knows what the farmhouse is.
Correct. Now, I should also point out, let me just bring it up, because I've forgotten exactly how many people I said were there. I think there's 167 or so people in the town itself. So not everyone's going to know about it, but enough people are going to know about it, right? So sorry for the background beeps there. Yeah, 267 people is what I'd said previously, right? So there's a good number of, but now it used to be like, today I think it's like 18,000 or something, right? So it's, it's not that many are left over, but there's like 267. You can always assume that like 1/3 of those are just weak and sickly, right? They're either too young to be any use or too old to be any use, or they're recovering from the dog flu, or they've got like whatever, right? So roughly 1/3 of that, right? So let's call it like, just for the sake of argument, let's call it the 67, right? So roughly 200 people are in this town. So a lot of them will know about the farm, but not everyone knows everything.
Yeah, but that's too many people still.
True.
If I know politics, word travels fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and it would have been a curiosity, right? So I hadn't given any thought to how many people know about it, but it would have been the fact that they'd found another group there where there wasn't violence and where there was the possibility that this group would get a farm going. That would have created, even though it was only a few days back, that would have created something of a buzz, you know? And just one last thought, going back to the conversation you had or the point you brought up, it seems very unlikely that there'd be. This is still too raw after the pandemic, so there wouldn't really be a lot of subterfuge, right? So there wouldn't really be spies and moles inside of camps, right? They're probably, your best guess is that they've been watching from somewhere, right? That there's somebody like on a hilltop or in a abandoned building close by or whatever. So that's your best guess as to how they know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. If we have time within the next couple of days, I may just take it on my own to really scout the perimeter and try to find out where that is. But, we don't have to get ahead to that for right now. But
let me share my screen just really, really quick with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Please keep going while I do that. Carry on. I may have lost you. So this is Georgetown, right? So, and again, like we can switch to. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
So I'll link this, right? It's just obviously as a Google search, but in terms of like scouting it out, there's a lot of area around here where they could be, right? So there's vehicles, like you could absolutely scout it out, but just want to put it into context. You'd be scouting out a lot, right? And there's like a whole area that they can see you from, and this, you can obviously see kind of like the area or the outskirts of Georgetown. So not dissuading you from that idea, but there's just a lot there,
Yeah. Well, trying to use like my investigation skills and maybe not catch them where they are, but maybe coming and going and hearing motors, sort of, taking that sort of route if I can.
I love that idea, right? So open up your character sheet and figure out, because I'm very amenable to this idea, right? I think the idea of someone that was a cop using their deductive abilities and just a fold-out map of the area to figure out. Let's figure out what that would apply to it or equate to in terms of a role.
All right. What kind of role would you like?
I don't know. I'm just looking at your character sheet now, just trying to figure out what you've got that makes sense.
You still have investigation in this set?
I thought I had points in investigation, but my character sheet shows that I don't, but I thought I did.
I thought you did as well. So that may have been an issue. Would he have taken gambling, or would he have taken it? Is this like a formatting issue, maybe?
I took gambling because that was part of my history.
Okay.
Class.
So I also think that survival would count, right? So I think
tracking, yeah.
You'd get +3 for that roll, like +2 acumen and +1 for survival. But I kind of feel that this would be a case of like survival is really about kind of like lay of the land and survival off the land and camping and all that shit. So I think that would apply just as well as investigation.
All right, so you want to do a survival?
Let's do it.
All right. And nothing happened. What happened?
Oh, it could be this broken. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me see if. Oh no! Hold on 1 second. Try that again.
All right. Yeah, nothing happened.
Okay, so I had your character sheet open. I didn't know if I was the one that broken it. So let me just try this. Oh, that's me.
Yeah, I got no investigation, so yeah, it's not worth your time.
So let's do this. It's while I reset the API, roll 2d6 plus 3.
All right.
Spend the day investigating.
It's just kind of really slow.
So 11.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is so weird. All right, so let me just reset this API really quick and see if I can fix this. You're successful in that role, right? So I know, right? I want to kind of call him where he is at work and be like, "Hey, motherfucker, get working on the game." All right, try that again now, just out of interest. Try that if you don't mind opening the character sheet.
All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now it worked. But I'll take the first roll.
We didn't give you the plus 3, so you're right. So somehow I crashed the API there, but yeah. So you're able to you can narrow it down, and again, like feel free to clip on the Mac link that I sent you. But there's like with your abilities or your training, you can probably spot 2 or 3 areas, like looking at this map and around the area, like the surrounding regions. You can narrow this down to at least 2 or 3 areas where someone with a good pair of binoculars would be able to see pretty much everything from the town.
All right. Can I investigate or check it out to see if I see signs of like footprints or cigarette butts or chip bags or any kind of sign of activity?
Yeah, you can, right? But that will take you most of the day, right? And I'm presuming you're just taking one of the cars from the town, and you'll go and in a subtle, surreptitious way, go to the areas that you see on the map and see if you can narrow this down. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, this will be a several day endeavor for me. Like that's what my character will be doing, unless something comes up in the meantime.
It would really be if you decided to do this, you would be able to get back to town because he said to you they'll come back in 24 hours, right? So looking at this map,
okay, so that evening, that's what I'm doing.
100%, right? So you think you'll be back before midnight if you leave now to go and examine these things, and you want to catch as much daylight as you can. So let's just assume Luther's heading off, and we'll do the rolls in a second and figure out what you found out. Battersby, he's a little bit out of his depth, right? He's still angry and he's wandering around, but he doesn't really have a lot to contribute towards this situation. So, Trojan and Emmy, what are you up to?
He's just grumpy and getting flashbacks to his own farm. Oh, you might have muted.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, my wife brought me some food and I keep putting it down and it keeps in the space bar. I know, fucking Shake Steak, like best burgers. But I keep it on the space bar and it keeps muting me like an idiot. So,
the plate, not the notebook.
Trojan, what are you, Trojan and Emmy, what do you do? Because Luther's off, Battersby's a little bit lost, Steve's still crying in his little hotel room or wherever he stays. What are you two up to?
Well, I'm going to ask Luther before he heads out his quick opinion, what he thinks, what he wants to do. Just so I get at least his addition to the group.
I want to stomp their face in.
Okay.
I like that as well. I mean, it's an old-fashioned approach, but I kind of like it, right? So let me be clear. So Luther, if you could find a way of doing it, are you saying that you'd like to set up an ambush for them when they get back, or this is going to be a long-term kind of like vendetta against them? Like, how are you seeing this play out?
Well, for right now, if we are going to plan an ambush, we can't have anybody watching. So that's my first goal, is to make sure if we are going to pursue any sort of defense in the future, we can't have people see us, what we're doing. So that's my immediate goal. That's what I'm thinking. So if there is somebody out there watching us with binoculars or something, I got to find out where that is.
Oh, and then later we just have a Dick Cheney hunting accident.
Beautiful.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds good.
I've always wanted one of those. How fucking scary is it? Because the guy that shot him was a lawyer, right? So or the guy he shot rather was a lawyer. How scary must Dick Cheney be that a lawyer didn't want to shoot someone that had shot him point blank with a shotgun? I mean, it was just kind of like, oh my God, he must be so scary because that sounds like a dream job for any lawyer. They're like, man, I'm going to take you everything you're worth, except my soul will end up in a jar. All right. So back to the real one.
Slide, yeah.
So Luther is kind of planning an ambush of some sort. It sounds like or would like to plan an ambush, like doesn't want to give up the supplies. So I'm Luther. Anything else you're saying before you head out to start checking out the area?
Once you give up a little, they'll take a whole lot.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, there wasn't like a whole lot there was to do here. It was either take them on or surrender anyways. We were way off guard. Way caught off guard.
Yeah, I agree. We can't have that happen twice.
At this point, we're just buying time.
So Luther, so you're heading, unless there's anything else you're any other conversation you're having, presumably you're heading out now. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll catch as much daylight as I can.
All right, beautiful.
Radio.
So make sure
let's not make that mistake again.
If anybody wants to tag along, I'm welcome. You know, I'm not going to say, hey, you can't come with me.
If Ball wants to go with him, I'll send Ball.
All right, the two toughest guys in the area. All right, so Luther, I think I just gave you, assuming this is working, I didn't crash the API. I just put a radio in your inventory.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So you and Ball are free to head off, assuming that you want the company. You and Ball are free to head off, which leaves Battersby, Trojan, and Emmy in the town. So let's continue with Luther. So Luther, let me bring up that map again. So there are three areas that you think that they could be. So let's assume that you can make it there, right? That you're able to drive there with no issues. So let's so you're in this area. So this is the first place that, according to the map, like, can you see my screen, by the way?
No.
All right.
I don't know what map.
Oh no! Actually, look at the screen. So I'm streaming through Discord.
Oh, okay. Let me pull that up. Okay, yeah, Georgetown.
Yeah, perfect. So down here, just along from the George, I put an icon down there or dropped a pin down here. This is one of the areas that you think that they'd have been able to spy on. Also, like in terms of elevation, this one seems a little bit outside the possibility, but Flea Hill is another one. If they had either a drone or potentially the right binoculars, they'd be able to see from here. And then lastly, also in terms of like elevation, over here on the northeast, you think that there'd be like there's a hill or a bluff or whatever, right, where they can look down and they'd be able to see the town. So again, given what he said to you, they'd have to be close enough for them to really know that you guys had been setting up an ambush. So really it feels like those are the only three areas, unless they were right under your nose, right? Unless they were like, you know, in the Georgetown Speedway, or maybe on the outskirts of town, or maybe they sent, you know, if they're ex-soldiers or ex-military, like they seem to be, maybe they've just sent some guys in under the cover of darkness. But those three areas seem like good choices. So let's have you make a survival roll at each of those three locations.
All right.
Where's the farm in relation to that while he's doing that?
Can you see where my mouse is, like where I'm pointing to?
So that other hill would have been right next to the farm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Because again, I'm paying attention only because I assume Luther's going to translate all this back.
Actually, I'm mistaken. It's here, right? So this, if you can see where my mouse is, this is the mall. This little kind of triangle on its side, that's where the mall is. So these fields, this is where the farm was, over in this area here. So a little bit further up from where they pointed to, but in that same general vicinity.
Okay. So either they're playing that card close to the chest, or that's, I'm going to guess, not the spot.
Could be. Very true. Yeah.
Oh, you did fail that bad. Holy cow.
You really did, didn't you? That was so close to being if we'd have just had a 1-1,
Sounds like deer piss.
Yeah. That would have been a moment of low insight. That would have been glorious if you'd have really failed that. But all right. So let's move on to the second region. Let's make a second roll.
All right. This time I'm gonna drop a dice.
Oh, nice.
What cigarette? Nope, no one's been here.
All right. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. So the second place you go to, excuse me, is over here in Flea Hill, right? So as you expected, you actually find more than just the cigarette, right? I mean, you see, excuse me, you see like someone set up like a bivouac, right? I mean, it looks like from this slight elevation, they can see down exactly where, right? And they can even see into kind of like the church area where you guys have been hanging out. So it feels like that they've had like a clear view down onto you from here. So this really does feel like the spot that they've been, but there's no one there now. You approached in the right way. And by the way, it's the second out of the 3 spots. So it's only dusk, right? So you can still get to the town before sunset. But you get the sense that, hey, someone's been here, and someone's been here as recently as the last couple of days. But thankfully, there was no one there when you turned up.
All right. We might have to ambush the ambusher.
I think you put the plate back down on the spacebar again.
Oh, I did. I'm such an idiot. Thank you. Christ, you think I'd
traded the notebook for a food plate.
Mate, I'm just telling you, this Shake Shack just like knocks all common sense out of me. So I do silly things for this burger, so including putting stuff on my spacebar. Yeah, so...
Hey, hell, as long as it's good.
Let's have you make... It really is good. Let's have you make... what would this check be? Let's have you make like a perception or an acumen check. Whatever skill you think you've got in there. But I in the new version, I don't think Matt's coded this, but there's actually a tactical skill, right? So I would have you make a roll on that tactical skill. But as we don't have that, let's have you roll on like perception or whatever you think would give you an advantage in terms of like figuring out an attack here.
All right. Hey.
I don't think it matters.
Jeez Louise, you're really rolling beautifully. All right, so yeah, sorry, bivouac. I'll find you. It's a very small tent. It's a military term.
Okay. Just being cheeky.
Yeah, we use, you know what we're like. We use these fucking stupid words, right? Bivouac shelter. Here we go. Let me put this in there for you. Because it's exactly the thing. I don't know what you'd call it in US English.
Whenever you feel like it, if I'm acting up, just call me a Muppet. And I'll
understand. I'm married to an American. You kidding me? Like, she gives me shit all of the time. It's glorious. So it's you know, part of being English is you only make fun of people you care about, right? You mock people you hate, but you make fun of your friends, right? So it's
my wife does that to me now. I used to pick on her all the time. Now she's throwing it right back at me. She catches me aghast every now and then.
That's how it should be, right? Like, give as good as you get. That's exactly how it should be. So, Luther, your perception, like, I mean, you see the direction that they come up in, right? And you see kind of a tree line. So, you know, in terms of ambushing, you'd be able to get to a position where you'd be able to see anyone approaching this kind of little area, and they wouldn't expect you there. So you'd be able to get a drop on them, assuming they're not wearing infrared goggles.
All right. I'm going to radio down and go, I think I found out where they are.
Oh, yeah? Whereabouts have they been?
Over to the west. Over.
Okay, so that sounds pretty good. Looks like they might be ignorant of the farm.
10-4. Over.
We're good.
Are you done talking? You have to say over. Over.
I roll my eyes, which you can't see. Over. I say it in such a tone that he can feel the eye roll.
Yeah. You can feel the ice coming through the walkie-talkie.
So I might just camp out here in this spot for the evening then, if I can hide and keep an eye on it. and I know that if someone comes up here, they're not going to see me. I may do just that.
Sure, you want to do that?
Just for the night. Over.
Okay. Over.
And Ball is staying there with him, right?
Oh, that's right. Ball's with you. Are you sending Ball back, or is he going to hide there with you?
Whatever he wants to do. If he's loud and noisy, he can go home.
I feel like Ball would be fine either way.
Okay.
So really, as long as he's being quiet, otherwise send him home.
Yeah, I mean,
treating him like a child. Now you behave, or else.
I mean, if he knows the plan and he knows what we're up to, I mean, he's cool staying.
Here, let me check. I can check his character real quick if I can find. Oh, there he is. Since I was playing him, let me check him. He's got no stealth. He's got a little dexterity. Yeah, he feels like if he can be useful, then he'll probably stay.
But he's going to be like, I'm hungry. Well, then he can go home.
Oh, he's a baseball player. He's used to that.
Okay. He's used to being hungry.
Yeah.
Everyone's borderline starving at this point. So everyone's beyond saying they're hungry because it's just everybody is hungry. So,
well, he didn't make the Yankees, so he's used to not eating the greatest.
Let's have you both make a stealth or a survival check. Something to be able to, you're getting in position. And I really don't care which skill it is, but you're getting in position. Let's see how well you do in terms of hiding yourself from the outside. So really, actually, more survival than stealth, I think.
Oh, great. I was hoping you could say the other.
Wow.
And I'm going to make him reuse one of these. There you go.
Beautiful. Hey, you keep getting those, like you're doing really well over there, Luther. You're having a great
night.
night.
I'm building up some bad karma.
I love
gotta feel it. I'm going to get in the shootout and do double ones.
He's saving it for next week.
Yeah.
Because that's where it all goes down.
This is all set up for that. You're right. So,
you know what? Matt's right. You are the easy GM.
I am. Hey, I'm the cerebral GM is the way that I like to think of it. That's why there's very little combat. So ironic that guy Will gave a shit for like, hey, this is such a combat-focused system. I don't remember the last time we actually threw combat dice outside of the arena, but neither here nor there.
Yeah, we haven't.
But we will be soon. That's the good news. All right. So Bunyan, he's sticking out like he's still got his white jacket on or his white T-shirt on, right? So he's doing his best to hide. But if someone was coming to this area, there's a good chance, I don't know if Ball or Luther realize it, but there's a good chance they'd see Ball as they're approaching just because he's wearing, again, his white baseball shirt.
He's also 6'5", so...
He's also 6'5".
Woo.
So, but Luther's very well hidden, right? So you're... Oh, actually, I forgot. Sorry, you used one of your dice. I forgot. You're both very well hidden. So if anyone comes up, you will be able to get the drop on them this evening. You better just hope you don't fall asleep.
Well, that's a different story.
So Bunyan and Trojan and Emmy, you're still back at town with Battersby. What are you up to?
I'm just chilling until council because I don't really think there's anything useful I can do. It's like going to meet. Sorry, go ahead.
Isn't what I'm doing too.
Do you want to try and make it up with Steve? Are you trying to canvass or inspire people and get their support? Are you just milling around? What are you doing in terms of how you spend the afternoon while Luther and Ball are out hunting for the hunters?
Well, maybe, I guess with some of the people that were there, just to get a sense of, just short talk and see if any of them understand or if they actually feel the way Steve does, because Steve is a pompous ass.
So
kind of get the feel if the people are kind of like on my side or not.
Make a perception check.
Damn.
Oh.
All right, I'll go talk to Steve. Oh wait, no, that means I wouldn't know if they were feeling about me. Never mind.
Correct. I feel that Emmy's turning out to be a little bit more pompous and a little bit less turned on than we thought she was initially, right? Because she seems to be a little bit tone deaf to what's going on around her. So you talk to the folks around, like, you can't get a sense of whether or not people support you. couple of people make comments about like, well, Steve's done his best to lead us. Like they don't like the fact that you seem to have humiliated him in public a little bit. But other than that, people are fairly non-committal about what they want. But there's kind of like dusk turns into evening meal, and people come over to the church to get their dinner. Steve wanders back, by the way. So Steve's kind of, excuse me, back in the town. He doesn't make eye contact with you, Emmy. But he comes over. There's no sign of Bald Steve, the other of the two Steves. But other than that, it seems like a fairly busy kind of like dinner evening. So again, if there's anything you want to find out from the people there, if there's any conversations you want to have, there's a ton of people around to have those conversations with at this point.
I want to grab a sandwich and a coffee to go, and I'm going to ask around to see where Bald Steve is.
So let's have you make an appropriate check. Let's have you make a charm check or an inspiration check or something that would get you people to tell you where he is without making it feel like you're chasing after him.
Target? Or you want me to just do a 2d6 plus 4?
Yeah, 2d6 plus 4.
Perfect.
Sorry, I was just laughing at Zero's comment there.
Wow. What is going on? Here I thought I was going to have a magnificent night, and this was going to be my shining moment, and I'm getting garbage rolls.
Yeah. You don't get the feel that people are really trusting you, right? So,
damn.
And no one seems to have seen Steve, right? For what it's worth, like you ask however many people you decide you ask, but he doesn't turn up. Some of the people that you saw him with recently, like in the church today, during the discussions late in the votes, they also haven't turned up, right? So you're there throughout dinner, and unless you tell me otherwise, you keep a pretty keen eye open, and you just don't see any sign of him.
No, real quick, it was Big Steve that was out there this morning, not Bald Steve, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. If I know where his home is, I at least want to go there, but yeah, I want to just keep a keen eye out for him. I want to go knock on his door.
Let's have you make...
I assume somebody would tell me where he is.
Yeah, let's have you...
Or at least where his room is.
I think let's have you make a charm check and just don't fail this one.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Wouldn't it?
Oh, not +6. Cheating. Oh, fuck's sake.
All right.
Here's
the good news. I'm giving you a dice for that because that's a moment of low insight. Like a double one, you get an outcome or a distemper dice for that. So that's the good news.
Yep, there we go.
Because you're so unlucky, you get a luck bonus.
Bingo. Yeah. So it's that you either do so well when you get a double 6, you do so well, or you get a double 1 and do so poorly that you either learn from what you did and what you should always do, or you learn from what to never do again.
I've been humbled this afternoon, and I'm taking my loss.
Yeah. You wandered up to someone and said, "Hey, bitch, where's the short bald guy?" And they didn't like it, right? So that was your charm check. All right, so you don't know where Small Steve is. You might, if you were to go over and apologize to Big Steve, then maybe or to Tall Steve rather, maybe he would tell you. But right now, kind of like people are giving you a little bit of the cold shoulder.
I'm not going to apologize right yet, but I am going to go talk to him and see what happens.
He's fairly conciliatory, right? He obviously doesn't like tension, right? I mean, he's not exactly apologizing to you, but as you sit down, he says, so did you make any other decisions for the town today, or am I still kind of in charge here?
If I have a cold drink, I'm going to reach up and try to put it on the side of his face where I slapped it. And ask him how that feels.
He looks kind of surprised. And he was like, yeah, it feels better than it felt like getting the slap. So if that was an attempt at an apology, it's working. If you were trying to humiliate him, you might have to... Okay.
No, it was an attempt at some humility.
Yep. So he's grateful for that, right? He still has a red handprint. Like, it's only been a few hours. He has a red handprint from where you really walloped him one. So he looks at you and says, and by the way, Trojan, where are you? Are you in grabbing dinner with him, or are you off on the outside doing something else?
Off on the outside doing something else.
Okay. Anything that relates to this, or are you kind of wandering and flirting?
Kind of just wandering around.
All right, cool. So Steve says to you, Emmy, So what's the plan? If this guy's coming back with his psychos tomorrow and you've already given him half of the stuff, what's the plan?
Well, I assume that we're going to have a meeting at some point with everybody. I'm sure you're probably going to have one, but you heard him. He had eyes on us. He saw everything we were doing. What else was there? What else were we supposed to do? I either have to try and set something up to work out a deal, or at least to buy us time for tomorrow. Or you saw them. There was what, 7, 2 more, almost 10 of them, fully loaded. There's no standing up to them this morning.
He agrees. I'm sorry, I was just finishing up the last of my food, so you won't hear any more smacking of the lips anymore. I'm done with that. But he agrees with you. And he's like, yeah, you really didn't have much choice, right? He says, that's how I felt since these guys started appearing a week or so ago. He said, like, we were getting along really well before they turned up. Everyone was pulling in. Everyone was going out trying to find more supplies. No one had gone hungry for weeks, right? So he felt that things were just starting to come together. And then these guys turned up, right? So you have a sense of like camaraderie or however you'd want to frame it with Steve at this point, right? Because he's looking at you almost like, oh, now you know how it's been for me over the last couple of weeks. So there's that bond building.
Yeah. So that's why you came up to the mall, mostly was because they had already come and taken supplies and you were just trying to restock.
That's exactly it. That's exactly right? And that wasn't something that, he'd been on, not defensive, but he hadn't been willing to share everything up front with you guys, right? But he's like, that's exactly what happened, right? He said, all these people, he points around the room at them and he says, bald Steve's just really good at logistics. He hasn't helped me with any of this stuff. He said, this has fallen to me for the last couple of months to make sure that everyone's fed and everyone's happy and no one ever says thanks. No one ever does anything in return. And when we found you up at the mall, yeah, like these guys had come along and they raided one of our places and they figured out which one of them was a stock room. And he has a moment of like almost like inside himself where he's like, that would make sense now. He said they knew exactly where to go. He said, of course they've been watching us, right? They knew exactly where they were going that first night when they went to one of the stock rooms and completely emptied it out, right? So again, like he has a moment of, I won't call it bonding, but kind of bonding with you guys, right? Where he really is just kind of like, yeah, you get it now. Like we're in an impossible situation. Maybe we should pick up and head to Philadelphia or somewhere else and get away from these guys. But I just think there's always going to be these locusts wherever we go.
Oh, no, for sure. I understand. But constructive criticism here, you see the difference between what you did to us and now what they have to do. They're fully armed and they can back up what they're saying, as opposed to you with what you got here.
Yeah, I mean, he sees it, but he's kind of like, I mean, again, like you can see it in his face. He's not on the verge of tears, but he's kind of on the verge of tears, right? He's kind of like, hey, I've just been doing my best with these people. Like I was a fucking lawyer before all this happened. Like I wasn't trained for this. I don't know about leadership. I don't know about survival. I'm just trying to get by in the world, right? So he takes what you're saying. Like, I mean, he understands it, but at the same time, it just feels like it's just another insult, you know?
Oh, I could probably see he's tearing up. I'm like, no, I don't mean, I'm not trying to hurt you this time. That was this morning. But everyone's got to eat, but there's other priorities too. If you can't keep your food, you're not going to be able to eat it. So you got to restructure this place if you're going to keep it. But right now, I'm thinking that at this point, yeah, we sacrificed this morning, and we're probably going to sacrifice tomorrow. It's not my choice. It's your guys's, but you're probably going to be sacrificing it tomorrow, at least to buy you some time to figure out what you really need to do. I'm assuming you're going to have to cave tomorrow to figure out what you really need to get done.
He looks at you a little incredulously, and he's like, what do you mean I'm going to have to cave? You're the one that took over negotiations. Why is this now back to me?
I mean, we'll see how it goes tomorrow and see what we can figure out from these guys. I've got to work these guys first. This is the first time I've met him. I've been able to eye him up and down, but we got to see what he's really got going. And then maybe, who knows, maybe we can, hopefully Luther's found something out there. Maybe we can tail them back to where they are and figure out how big a place they actually are. If they're blowing as much smoke as you did before, or if they actually have the numbers and the hardware.
So he kind of slumps in his seat, right? I mean, he's exasperated, and he says, "Yeah, so just tell me what you're going to do." He says, "He's coming back tomorrow. You heard him, right? Like you already offered him like some kind of partnership." He says, "So he's going to roll into town tomorrow. Are you just going to play it by ear, or do you actually have a plan?"
We're gonna have to play it by ear, but I feel like worst come to worst, we give him another van full, and then we figure out what to do. You got a month again to figure it out. Whether it's tailing him back, like I said, hopefully Luther's got something for us when he comes in. By the way, where is the other Steve? I haven't been able to find him all afternoon.
Yeah, he kind of he looks at you and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't seen him either. Like, I got no idea where he is. Like, I haven't seen him since the church, right? I mean, the last time any of you saw him was this morning when you'd had your vote, right, about whether or not you should like stand up to these guys or you should give it over." So Steve says, like, "I just assumed he'd been in that dinner and already left." Like, he kind of he says to you very not incredulously, but he's like making sure that he understands. He says, "So you haven't seen him?"
No, I've been looking for him all evening, and everyone's looking at me after this morning. So, I mean, again, we're gonna have to play it by ear because I don't. This place just is not prepared for what we saw this morning.
Yeah, there's no argument from him on that. Like genuinely no argument from him on that. So Luther, let's head back to you. So let's have both you and Bull make a perception check.
All right.
With a -1 C mod because it's pitch black.
Oh, I guess I say you move him on me.
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, I just didn't see his token. You moved him.
Oh yeah, sorry, they're on the
-1.
left. Sorry, I'm so sorry. They're on the left-hand side. Let me bring them back.
No, I see him. I found
Alright,
him.
perfect.
But -1, you said?
Yep.
Oh, no wonder. I had the Twitch window open and nothing was popping up.
Click on the Twitch.
I was like, why isn't anything working? You said with a -1?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So you hear people coming, Luther.
Okay.
But they don't seem to make a navigation check.
Okay.
Beautiful. So you're a little bit confused, right? So, and sorry, I don't have a map set up for this. So you and Bunyan are up there, but you're a little bit confused because you can hear people coming towards where you are, but you've been able to triangulate on that, and they're not coming from the direction you thought that they would be coming from, right? So, in essence, they're coming from behind you. Like you'd expected them to come from, the east, and you were pointing, or the west rather, and you were pointing that way. When it feels like they're actually coming from, say, the southeast. So you hear the noise, but you realize people are coming towards you from behind rather than the direction you thought they were coming in.
All right. How are they approaching? Like by foot or like bike or motor?
Yeah, they're approaching by foot, and the scary part is the with getting a wild success, it's those subtleties that you've picked up, right? So this kind of you get that kind of ice water feeling in your stomach because you get the sense that this is actually someone trying to sneak up on you rather than them approaching the position.
Oh shit!
All right, I'm gonna give Ball the elbow.
What?
The get alert elbow.
Oh, boy, you see something?
Shh. All right, do I see anybody yet?
No, you can hear them, but you can't actually see them, right? So which just adds to this rising sense of dread that you've got, right? Because you know that they're coming towards you, and you can hear things like, branches moving, and you can hear some things like, like a twig snapping every now and then. but you're not even sure. It could actually be an animal, right? I mean, it's just there's noise of something coming towards you, but again, it feels like very stealthy noise.
Right. All right. I'll keep my eyes peeled until I can see something.
Well, I guess I'm hyper focused now.
So let's do this. Give me just 1 second to get another map ready really quickly, so we can just throw some guys up. So,
Well, I think at that point, I'm gonna, at the very least, pull a hatchet out.
Oh yeah, did you not? Is that? I don't want to say is that the best weapon you've got, but is that the best weapon that you've got?
Well, I'm thinking he's got my attention to pay attention to something. The best weapon I have?
Yeah. Well, the most suitable weapon you have, is that? Would you say that that's right?
The most what?
Suitable weapon.
What are we hiding in? I forgot.
Let me switch this over so you can see it.
We're like in a bush, up in a tree.
Yeah. So take a look on that map, and let's just pretend that there's no water in the middle, right? So what you've got is as you kind of look down here where I'm pinging. Excuse me. There's no water here, but this is the top of a hill where you two kind of are at the moment, right? So as you're looking down here, this is where you'd be able to see the rest of. This is where you can see Georgetown from, right? Kind of like in that direction, but you're still unable to figure out where those noises are coming from. That you just know that they're coming towards you. You can kind of get the sense that something's moving towards you.
Okay, so Georgetown is this way, so
Correct.
He's hearing stuff from this way.
Possibly.
You don't have dual wielding set up, because I feel like this would be a case where I'd have a hatchet in one hand and a pistol in the other.
Yeah, it's funny. I started writing the rules for that at the weekend, so but I don't have them finished. So,
all right, if that's the case, then I guess if we're just chilling here, hidden, I guess I'm pulling an axe. Well, because I'm thinking if we're trying to potentially ambush someone, I want something quiet that's not going to be gunfire.
I think it's
I assume that's what we're doing.
Well, kind of up to Luther. What are you up?
Yeah,
what do you think? Luther?
What was Luther's plan? That was your plan, right?
Yeah, ambush them, but I didn't think we had to do it quietly.
Okay, no, that's fine. If that's the case, then bam.
But I'm standing there with my heavy pistol, ready to go.
Then I got a sawed off.
All right. And do you both have them? Are they armed?
I just armed mine.
All right, beautiful.
Because if he hears something, I'm not paying attention, then yeah. Oh, there's another one.
Another one what?
Breaking point that just popped up.
Clinton Phillips. He's having a rough day.
They're all having rough days, mate. I mean, you can make light of this, but these poor guys.
This is good, because if you're talking about your community and having stuff like this would be great to see things like that. I mean, it's kind of cool because you can kind of get the sense that your community's alive and stuff just randomly happening. So if he has actually programmed that in there to have something happen with random characters you have, that's fantastic. It just makes it lively.
I agree. All right, let me do this.
Because like if you remember the Sims, or not the Sims, SimCity, where you just see random little tags pop up like so-and-so just won first place doing something or other, or, here we gave you a certificate, Mayor of the Year.
Or Oregon Trail, someone just drops dead of dysentery.
Well, a little morbid, but yeah. Something exciting happens.
Dysentery is always exciting.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm just setting something up here. Keep going with the dysentery conversation. This isn't where I expected the evening to go.
Oh, there goes a bunch more. Holy cow.
Bird, I tell you what.
He's not having a good day. That's his fourth one.
Oh, Larry Bird.
Because he had 2 earlier, now he's got 4.
Robert Bird, no relation to Larry. I am sorry.
Uh-oh, I think you might have just given yourself away there, Tony, because I recognize those icons.
What do you mean?
Captain Chuck Cox and Clint Phillip.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so yeah, this is where it's broken because I have the GM only check on, right? So that should come up and only show the GM what's going on. All right.
I didn't see nothing.
I saw nothing. All right, let me see if I can get a skill check going here. Hold on. Oh, okay. So let's have you both make another perception check.
Oop, I actually picked my still -1. Or are we now focused and it's a 0?
Yeah, let's it's getting easier to triangulate. So 0 C mod.
Humbleness abounds.
Yeah.
I'll just keep elbowing him. I'm like, hey, it's over there.
Yeah. So Luther, you do start to hear something coming through the bushes at you, right? So you think something is coming through this way, right? If you had to kind of like, put your finger on it, it would be over there.
Which way's over there?
Oh, it's not for whatever. Hold on. Sorry, I'm on the GM level. Sorry, I've been pinging away and it hasn't been working. Let me see if that works. Yeah, there it is.
Okay. All right. I'll just keep watching until I see people.
Okay.
Or beast.
Or yeah.
You did hear dogs the other week.
Well, it's food either way, right? Gross.
Yeah. But you're right. You're right. Hey, are you seeing the rolls there? Are they coming up in your chat?
I do not.
Okay. All right, beautiful. All right, so let me hold on one second. Sorry about this. I'm trying to make sure I'm doing stuff without you guys seeing it.
Give you the 2 elbow affirmative.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so can you both make one last perception check?
Finally, God.
All right, beautiful. All right, beautiful. So, and again, I'm on the wrong lever. Here we go. So you both hear a noise from back here, right? So someone, and you're Luther, particularly you with that wild success, you know the sound of a human moving through the brush when you hear it, right? So you get the sense that, what is that, 5, 10, 15 foot away or thereabouts, someone's heading towards you, right? And you'd put it in one of these, if you had to put it somewhere, it's somewhere in this block of squares over here, right? Like you're not entirely sure where, but you're very clear there's somewhere emanating now from that last circle. Someone's walking towards you there. What do you want to do? So actually, let me just recap. You heard noises coming from that direction. Now you're pretty sure someone's coming from that direction as well. So it feels like there's a pincer movement going on.
I still don't see any people yet or any bodies.
Not as yet, no.
All right, I'll stay dead still if I can and wait until I see somebody.
Okay. Bunyan, what are you doing?
Seeing as I'm only just getting some sense of where they are, and probably, unless he's on top of me, I'm probably insane. Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, so excuse me, Robert Bird having his breakdown, he wanders in, right? So you can see him wandering towards you, right? And you don't get the sense that he sees where you are, but this and again, if you had if tactical was programmed in, I'd have you roll on that. Something feels weird about this, Luther. This doesn't feel like this isn't the way someone would approach this bivouac. Coming back to it, this feels much more like between this noise over here and what you heard over there earlier, you're starting to get the sense that, hey, maybe someone's looking for you rather than coming back to this scouting area.
Somebody from our town?
Or just somebody.
Somebody. And this guy's wearing military fatigues, right? So if you had to take a guess, you would guess that he is part of this group, right? And you would guess that this is one of the people that's been up here. But again, like let's for argument's sake, this right here is where that bivouac that I linked you to, like the little tent is. So instead of them taking the easy path and coming up here in the clear that you would expect it to, it feels like two different people are heading towards the same area, but they're coming from different directions, but they're heading towards you. Make sense?
Yep.
You're being trapped, in other words. Yes, there you go.
I think
About dress
I mean, until they specifically see us, I think we're still okay.
All right, do I actually have eyes on him? And I'm assuming he's the only one I hear since that's the only success I had.
Correct.
Do I actually see him though,
Yep.
or is he?
No, you see him. You see someone moving through, right? I mean, you couldn't pull him out of a police lineup at this point, but you recognize that that's a human being. He's wearing some kind of military uniform,
Okay.
and he's crouching down as he's heading towards this position. But he obviously doesn't know where you and Luther are, even though he's being, very surreptitious or stealthy.
I'm gonna not. I hate to be like I'm gonna hold out the sawed off, like I'm aiming it like across like stretched arm, but I'm definitely at like a high ready for anything. Like if he starts running at me, I'm pulling a trigger.
Fair comment. Luther, what are you doing?
So I see him like he's readying the shotgun on that guy.
You see? Wait, do you mean Bull?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's got him covered, I am definitely going to hyper focus on this other direction off to the left.
Make another perception check.
All right. Don't throw me down, dice.
Oh my gosh!
You are having a night of nights, my little prince.
You listen to Matt. You do all the right things and not abuse perception. And Luther don't care. He's still gonna outroll you.
Oh yeah,
not
baby.
Abusing perception.
And hey, frankly, this to me is the. I by the way, I listened to the audio, right, of like catching up 2 weeks ago. I finally finished that, or 3 weeks, finished that one off. But Matt brought me up to speed on your discussion around like this being over abused, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think that
he didn't record.
Yeah, right. But in this instance, I think this is one of those times because there's a number of people out there.
Oh yeah.
And I feel that this would be the right use for a perception check. Kind of like, if every time you took a shot, it'd be a ranged weapons check. So I feel this is a good use. So fuck Matt. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be doing this anyways, because if we were like at the farmhouse doing the stealth checks,
Bingo.
you're just running perceptions for them anyways.
Bingo. That's exactly right. Right. So, all right, beautiful. All right, so you now see Luther, and Bull, you haven't seen this yet, right? But
Right.
Luther, you see this guy coming towards you as well, right? Now, again, same as this other fella, he's crouched, he's in a kind of a combat-ready position, he's got a semi-automatic weapon out in front of him. This feels like a major threat, right? I mean, this is a guy that's approaching your position, but both of them seem to be trying to sneak up on the position.
All right. I'd like to aim at him if I can.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So let's aim. So the guy on the left, at any point, you can take a shot at him and you'll get that aim bonus.
All right.
All right, let me do a couple of things over here. And Bull, you're just still aiming, correct?
Yeah, I'm glancing over at Luther, seeing if he notices anything else, and I'm since he's got his gun up pointed at the wrong direction, I'm assuming he sees somebody else. Because I'm thinking, how the hell is he missing this guy I'm staring at? Oh, probably should. Get that.
All right.
I did see that one for Clint Phillips pop up.
Yeah, this sucks. Like there's a couple of things you can't do excuse me, without, but again, just more to talk to Matt about, or to get him to program in. So, all right, so let's have you both make one last perception roll.
And you see none?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say +1, but it wouldn't have come into effect anyway.
That's okay. I was going to suggest a minus because I'm tunnel visioned on this guy, but never mind. Actually, it looks like you don't have your game updated for the new roll.
I know.
Ooh, we're special.
So Matt said it just takes a long time to go. I wish I was a coder, right? I've been a network hardware guy for like decades, right? So I wish I was more useful to Matt in this sense. But he said to replace the dice roll numbers, there's a ton of places for him to change it. So I don't think he's done it anywhere just yet.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm playing Cisco routers.
So yeah, exactly. That's I've been blaming, and the correct way of saying that is Cisco routers because I have a European accent. But you're right. A Cisco router has been a
Hey,
bit.
you're in America now. You
Hi,
should
this is true. This is true. I just have a cuter accent than most of you.
That's true.
The only reason my wife puts up with my bullshit, I swear to God. All right, so you've been doing opposed checks, right? So. Excuse me. This is to you, Bull, because you wouldn't see this from where you are over there. But Bull, you see this guy, and again, like it's been weird doing it the way that I've been doing it, but this has been an opposed check between someone else's stealth and your perception, which is why I've been making you roll all these perception checks to see if they're beating you. So this guy just failed, right? You just won against him. So you now see two guys that are in the woods, right? And they're both converging on. Now, the good news for you is they seem to be converging on Luther, right? So, like, from where you are, Bull, neither of these guys seem to have seen you just yet. But this is where, again, like over here is where the bivouac, like the little tent area set up, like a little spy area was. So they seem to be heading towards that, which is where Luther is. But again, like, you're now aware of two guys over here.
I'm aware of them. Can I see them? Like, do they have guns drawn?
Yep. They both have guns out. So, and they're both wearing military uniforms as well. Like, honestly, you can't tell whether or not they're the same uniforms Cox had on when he was in the town, but there's some kind of fatigues,
Yeah. I'm gonna guess since this guy's so close to me and surprised me, I'm probably gonna aim at him and just pull the trigger.
Oh, I love it.
We're gonna start this game.
All right.
Now I need to do both actions, right? Well, we're not in combat, but you're about to make it that way.
Yeah, I am. So let me just show you one last thing. See, because one thing I don't think we've ever discussed. So there's a. You could do what's called getting the drop, right? So let me just pull this up.
Yeah, that's true. We have actually not done this.
But it's in the rules, right? So, it says, let me just share my screen again, just really quick. So the idea here is that you would get a move in before anybody else, right? Now, this... it automatically incurs a -3 C mod on the next initiative roll, right? So sure. I would say, this is more useful if like two gunslingers are about to draw on each other. You would want to do this, right? Because you're kind of like, hey, this gives me a shot before he shoots. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like getting the drop here is going to hinder you unnecessarily next round, right? So I kind of feel that just because of the darkness, and again, like Matt's going to give me shit when he listens to the recording of this, but I think that just given the darkness, everything else, I think that you can get the drop without getting the -3 C mod next round because no one knows you're here and it's pitch black, right? So as this guy goes past you, you could shoot him from behind and that would cause, confusion to every fucker in the area.
So you're half meting and telling me I should probably wait, or you're telling me just to shoot him now?
So here's what I'm saying: if And we are going to move to initiative after
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
right? But if you waited till he was here to do it versus him being here, I wouldn't give you a -3 C mod, right? So if you
Okay.
waited till he had his back to you, I think it would
Gotcha.
cause such confusion and such fucking like, oh my goodness, that I don't think that same -3 would apply.
Okay. So I notice him. You're right. He's trained on him. You did say that, but you know what? I'm gonna go with it. Well, let's fuck shit up.
Okay.
I already called it. I used to play chess a lot, and it's like, oh no, I already let go of the piece. That's my move. I'll suffer the consequences.
I love it. All right, so let me start combat. And to combat,
Oh, you need him back there though.
say that again.
Him. He's supposed to be over here when I hit him.
Oh, there's a bunch of people for whatever reason that were on this map that are no longer
You
on this
mortally
map.
wounded him already.
That's
you're
awesome.
already off to a good start.
Yeah,
Hey,
none
I'm gonna say Silas on that list. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, none of those guys are on that list. That's what's kind of ironic about this. So let's add this guy to combat. All right, so Bull, you get a drop on him, and again, this is all kind of pre-combat, right? So at the end of this, I'm going to kind of cancel this out and start again with the whole group. But you get to take an attack, and you've been aiming, so you get a +2, and you get another +1 because he's in front of you. So not only have you been trailing on him, but you wait until he goes past that apex, and he's just all back and shoulders and back of the head. So range combat +3.
Just range combat. We're not doing actual attack.
You absolutely can. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forget we're using mass system. I always default back to just the rules. So yeah, no, do an attack, but a +3 C mod.
Nice.
Nice.
Boom.
Yeah. So
Boom goes the sawed off.
Boom goes the sword off. So yes. So as you'd kind of expect, I mean, it doesn't come up, but he is done and dusted. I don't know.
Yeah, the worried me for a second. I'm like, oh crap, he's clad in armor. No.
Yeah, no. He is done. I don't know why they didn't do any on the wounds, but in fact, let me just change his status this way.
Stab.
Yeah. Oh, we've broken the API again.
Yes.
The good news
That's how you know
is,
you're doing a good test.
oh mate, that's how we're having fun, right? Like I get to tell Matt when he's like, "Did you have fun, mate?" I kept on breaking the API. It was awesome.
API broke twice. It was a blast.
What was he telling me about the one guy who kept falling out of the vents in your dread one?
Yeah.
Fell like 8 times and still didn't die.
Yeah. That was in a different. He's running 3 groups for Dread, right? So he, I guess there's something to be said in terms of role playing for living in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand, right? Because he's in like 4 or 5 games a week, right? Which blows my mind. I'm lucky to play 4 games in a month, right? So neither here nor there. Matt's running the same Dread game for 3 different groups, so I don't think my group has been through that. He told me about it, but we haven't been through that vent thing. But anyway, neither here nor there. So, all right. So you killed this guy. He's blown in front of you. So we're now going to move to combat for everyone. So.
Yeah, he was telling me about the one where 2 guys in an event, you tried to shoot a guy right in front of him and still missed.
Yeah. That does sound like my group, even though that wasn't us. So because of all the commotion, Luther, you get a really nasty shock.
Oh yeah, I probably skipped the shit. Oh no.
He's been making stealth checks, and he's been getting like higher rolls than you, right, and better degrees of success than you. So he made it all the way to you, and if it hadn't have been for what just happened, then he would have literally like pinned you down without any acknowledgement or without any kind of you'd have been screwed over. Let me put it that way. So let me do this because now we should start combat for the whole group. All right. So
Andy's got that initiative.
Oh yeah. So there's and again, I know that you've all seen.
Is it too late for me to add a dice to my initiative roll, or is that an option?
Is
that a thing?
I didn't know if it was or not.
It's not, but it should be. So hold on, what did you get for your initiative?
Just enough to beat him with a +4.
10.4.
Oh, even a +3, he still would win.
Yeah, let me just make a quick note of this. Hold on one second.
Just keep an outcome dice on standby.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget, Zero came up with a new name for them. They were Distemper dice, right?
Distemper dice, yeah.
I feel that we should be able to, that's what I was making the note, we absolutely should be able to add a Distemper dice to initiative, right? So I think that, yeah, so Luther, let's assume that you used one, and let me do this, because now you're in pole position. So let's assume that you see this guy bearing down on you. And again, like he got to within like 5 foot or so of you, but you now have the upper hand. You do have your gun ready. So what do you plan on doing?
I'm going to shoot him in the face.
You're going to try. I like that. All right. So, all right. So make an attack.
All right. Do I still have that aim on from before, or is that gone?
No, because he snuck up on you. Yeah, okay. You were aiming at someone else, and he snuck up on you.
All right, range. Then, that didn't do it.
No, it's attack. Is what Emmy just pointed out to us. If you click on your character, then there's the attack above that.
All right, there we go. Success. I think I did that right?
I think you did. There's something. Hold on one second. Let me take a look at the timestamp so I can tell Matt. 1 hour 50. There's something we're doing, and it might be to do with skills that's crashing the API. And again, it doesn't matter because I can keep restarting it. So let me just take that value off manually. All right, so you hit him, Luther. What do you? I guess that was your first action. What are you going to do for your second action?
Does he go down?
No.
I guess I got to shoot him again.
Go for it.
All right, here we go. Boom.
Damn. Rolling. Luther. Rolling.
Rawhide.
I don't know, what did you get there? So 6. All right, so
That's
yeah, it does, but what that has, so he has tactical body armor on, right?
Ooh,
so for some reason that's not coming into effect. So you do really hurt him. Let me go in and do this manually. You obviously catch him like the one of the bullets goes through catches him on the side of the tactical vest, right? So you hear the squelch of blood. So that's done some damage to him. It hasn't killed him, but it has hurt him, right? So hold on, the API is dead again. Excuse me. So again, good job on hurting him, but you haven't taken him out of the battle.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, so it's over to him now. Let me just check his skills. Hold on 1 second.
Let's go, ball.
All right. So unfortunately for you, he just got a wild success on. So he's trying to. He's obviously not trying, or it doesn't feel like he's trying to kill you, right? So it feels that he just went into trying to grapple with you, right? So you got to your knee and fired a couple of shots at him, or you just stood up or whatever it is. He lunges at you, right? So you kind of get this guy flying at you at the moment. So grappling is, sorry for the noise. Grappling is an opposed check. So let's have you make, and I rewrote these rules based on some of the feedback from you guys in the last session. Hold on 1 second. All right, so let's have you make whatever you think is the right response to this, right, from an opposed check. So it's fill in the gaps, kind of walk me through what you'd want in terms of combination, physicality, dexterity, unarmed combat, athletics, dodge. Like, talk me through how, like, this guy lunges at you, his shoulder comes, like bunches into your chest, knocks the wind out of you. How are you responding to him trying to force you down to the ground?
I would try like the dodge with dexterity.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
All right, so it's a -2, but it's simply because it's night, it's close range. He's kind of surprised you, fired shots like you hadn't expected him to dart at you. So in fact, -1, not -2. So make a dodge with a -1.
All right.
And you can cover.
Yeah.
Ooh, good old system.
So here's the sad part, though, right? So he still wins on this because it's
it's an opposed check.
Yeah, so it's the distinction in the successes, and just I'm not fudging from a story perspective. I'll post that in there. But he got a wild success on his unarmed combat versus a success on your combat, right? So he has the upper hand, right? So he kind of takes you down to the ground with this, and he has you pinned at the moment. So for his second action, he's going to headbutt you, right? So he will get a +1 C mod. Let's do this in unarmed attack. What is the master roller? What does that mean?
Keep a big spike underneath
He's
my
getting better rolls
head,
than Luther.
I
Because
see
he's
what you
getting
mean.
better rolls than Luther. He's already been doing fantastic with his rolls.
You're not going to like this. So he just got another wild success.
Oh.
So Luther, you get what is that? A 5 or a 6? Yeah, it's a 5. So because he's trying to subdue you, that's like a headbutt to the face, right? So you're going to lose 5 resilience points and 2 wound points. Does that make sense?
I think so. My resilience. So you already took it off?
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, ouch, I'm already down if I got to take off 5.
Oh yeah, baby. That's kind of the point, right? So that's where subduing kind of comes into, or has a value, right? That he's trying to knock you unconscious. This is weird. Did you already take damage? You didn't take any damage in this, correct?
No.
Yeah, okay. No, that's what I thought. Your stats were way down on what they should have been. So let me just set them back to where they should be, and then go in and make this change. All right, so Luther, your head is ringing, right? So after that, like you're kind of like, I mean, that was pretty painful on you, right? So, excuse me, that was both of his attacks. You're not unconscious, but you're feeling dizzy after that. It was a good solid blow to your forehead, so you're feeling nicely dizzy after that. That's the end of his turn. It's so apparently Robert Bird is now Deandra Bird.
He broke.
Man,
There's
that was
going on.
I know we're under
ghosts
stress.
in the machine here.
We're under stress, but man, that was the quickest transition that I've ever seen. Right, so he just saw this guy getting killed. Right, you can see where I'm pinging. So he just saw this death. Right, so he realized that shot came from over here. So he's gonna ready his weapon. Hold on, Sandbox is dead. All right. So again, I don't know why his name is Robert Bird here and then Deandra Bird in those other places. He's readied his weapon and he's gonna shoot at Bull because Bull just like shotgun blasted one of his buddies.
Yes.
Well, would you look at that? So I hadn't checked.
He's so caught off guard he forgot to load his pistol.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Hey, and I'm going with that, right? So I actually think that's down to that's on me because the character should have had some ammo, but I actually like how that went. So his first movement was readying, like getting his gun pointed at you. Second movement was a click, right? So next round he's going to have to reload his weapon.
This guy he barely passed basic training.
Yeah. Yeah, he was more of a logistics guy that's been pulled into this whole combat log, right? So he keeps forgetting some of the basics. This guy's going to use both of his moves to start approaching over to here because he's not entirely sure what's going on because it's so dark. But there's been a couple of a gunshot blast over here, a couple of coming from Luther, and then some movement and some growling through the woods where Chuck Cox smacked into Luther Malone, right? So that was his moves. Bull, over to you.
I'm engaged range. I'm assuming I still can't see this dude over here yet. Maybe
Correct.
hear him, but at best.
Correct.
But I'm guessing I heard that click, so I'm going to take a move right up in his face and blast the other shot.
Beautiful. So, yeah, let's give you a +1. You already get a bonus because I don't have Matt actually programmed it in.
Wow.
No. Hold on, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right.
Especially with the +3 from range.
1, 2. Yeah, that isn't right. Hold on 1 second. So rolling 7 equals 7. That didn't take. Oh, let me restart the API because again, it could be that.
Unless there's some hidden stat I didn't see.
No, it shouldn't be. This guy's just a bog standard soldier, right? So it's not like he's a super soldier, has like body armor on or something. So that shouldn't have worked. So try and attack him again.
Pulled a Neo and he dodged it.
Come on, Deandra. What the fuck are you doing?
That was worse. It still should have passed though.
Let me do this for you. Hold on 1 second.
How bonkers he is.
I feel that we've had this before. That's much more like it. Did you see that? There was a success.
I do, but it's still, even with the, let's see, a 9 and I rolled a 6 prior, so... Yeah, there's a number in there missing.
No, you're right. No, this is +3 damage, right? So that is right, because it's 4 and 5 is 9, plus 10, plus A mod, plus C mod, that's 11, minus the DMR is 10, right? So that
the previous one I would still get an 8.
Correct, but that's, it still felt like weird. If you go back to your first attempt, which should have been 3 and 3 plus 2 minus 1. Oh no, that was right. So it was 7. Hi, we'll get on.
Never mind. So I did miss. Okay.
Well, I'm being the nice GM, so let's have you hit the roll damage there.
All right, I'll take your niceties this time. Oh shit! Whoa.
And again, there's something there. So hold on, let me get the timestamp again for Matt. Because there's something, it's a weapon type or something we do. Yeah. I'm an engineer. I had to get pretty good at it for my career, unfortunately. But Ball is showing Bird D's nuts. Very nice, Luther. That felt like poetry. That felt like almost like a haiku, like a game of haiku. All right. So you did 12 damage. Let me take off this guy. Oh, I love it. He's reached his breaking point again.
Once again, Robert's breaking.
Yeah, so he's not dead, but he's kind of like he's your shotgun blast knocked him back like let's call it 6 foot, right? So he flumped to the ground, right? So you can still hear him moaning over there, but I mean, if you had to hazard a guess, he's done.
Okay.
All right, so that was both of yours.
He did say
Yeah, he's dead. All right, so that worked out, Luther. That really worked out in your favor. So you're currently being grappled, right? So you would have to make you're going to have to free yourself from this grapple, right? So you've got to try, and again, whatever you want to do, whatever your skill would be for that, but you and he are going to make another opposed check here to say if you're able to break out of his clutches. So you'll be using dodge or athletics or unarmed combat or some kind of combination of those in this check.
All right, I think dodge is my best bet here.
I agree.
So I'll try to dodge, squirm out of his thing with my oiled up body, because earlier I was wearing a lot of, sunscreen and it really made me greasy.
So just letting you know, he got a wild success and a score of 12, right? So your first attempt at breaking out was unsuccessful, right? So you have the opportunity to do that again as your second move, but you could also do an attack. I mean, you could arguably headbutt him back or pull a Mike Tyson and try and bite off his ear.
I can attack him while he's grappling me?
Yeah, I mean, again, like you could headbutt him, right? I mean, this is he has you pinned at the moment, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't bite his arm or you couldn't bite like some part of it that's exposed or like slam your head back into his nose or something kind of like dirty and down like that.
All right, let's try that. Would that be like unarmed combat?
Correct.
All right, let's try that. A headbutt. Boom, in your nose.
Beautiful. So if you open up your character sheet, unarmed combat does 1d3 plus
physicality, I assume.
Yeah, it's 1d3 plus physicality plus unarmed combat mod, right? So Luther, you'd get, it's 1d3 plus 2, right? 1 for physicality and 1 for unarmed combat. So 1d3 plus 2.
All right. I'll roll a d6 and divide it by 2.
Okay.
Right. So 1 plus 2, 3.
Okay. Let me see what that does to this guy.
Why won't you die?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the wooziness in his face, right? But he's still hanging on there, right? So, again, you can feel his grip start to relax a little bit, but unfortunately for you, that was both of your moves, right? So he's gonna do an unarmed combat on you, but it feels like he's trying to snap your neck at this point, right? It feels like he's kind of, his grip doesn't have quite the same intensity, but you feel like he is trying to snap your neck. So let's see how lucky he gets.
Sunscreen grease is coming in handy now.
That's an interesting thought. When you're stuck in a grapple like this, I don't know if you just want to chalk it up to unarmed combat, but something would this be considered like a called shot for unarmed combat? Like, let's say I got a hold of your wrist and I just want to take a massive smash right at the elbow and try and break your elbow. Or in this case, like you said, you got a hold of the neck, you just want to take a try and give a twist.
You're right. So I'm going to ignore that last roll and I'm going to do it again because it would be a cool shot, right? I think you're absolutely right. I think that not to give Luther more chances to survive, but I think that what he's trying to do would have that added complexity to it, right? Like not only because he could let go of Luther and attack him, but if he's going to stay trying to grapple him, look at that die failure!
Oh, wait.
Jesus Christ,
that was Luther on Luther.
Oh yeah, okay.
I failed myself.
Wow, that's an interesting range. A distant of a thrown melee weapon.
He's still going to fail.
Never try to sniper throw a hatchet. Got it.
Yeah. So
the sniper crowbar. What am I going to do with it now?
The sniper crowbar.
Oh,
that
you've never
one.
seen this?
No, mate, they're very useful. That's what that guy had to attack Dave Chappelle up on stage with, right?
Oh
To
my
shoot
god, yeah.
the knife. I said this to my wife, but what does that say about this country that it was easier to disguise his knife as a gun to get it into the show?
Oh my
You know what I
goodness,
mean?
yeah.
It's kind of anyway, neither here nor there. All right, so so he failed. No, Luther didn't ID'd. Like actually nothing happened to Luther because that was a fail. So he's actually gonna use his next. So he's using his next weapon to. He kind of rolls off you, Luther, but he pulls his pistol out and points it at you. So that's his movement, right? It's like he's no longer grappling you, right? I mean, he kind of gave up with that and used his second motion to ready weapon. But it's the end of his turn. So you now feel you're staring down the barrel of his gun.
You don't mess with Ranger Malone.
Yeah. All right, so Clinton's dead. I'm not sure why he's not showing up as dead, or he keeps showing up in the list. They probably have to remove him from combat. But next one is over to Deandra.
We had the same problem, I think, in the battle arena where dead people kept going in combat.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think you can remove them from the party, but I think when I've done that before, it can kill the API. So, but neither here nor there. I'm happy to skip past it. Let me just make a check on Deandra. Hold on 1 second. All right, so Deandra is taking 1 round to he got shot from the shotgun and got thrown like a fair distance, right? I'm not sure if you're paying any attention to him, but he's done his best to get himself to his knees and he's trying to reload his pistol because after it went click last time. So he's using both of his actions to try and get his gun ready, but also to try and figure out what's going on in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, back to you, Bull.
Well, I know I don't see the far guy still, so I'm gonna, since I threw him down the way I did, I'm gonna look at what's his face. Is he on the ground or is he trying to get up?
Yeah, no, he's on the ground, right? And he's hurting, right? So he's trying to. If you had to play the situation out, the next thing he's going to do is tell Luther to stop, or he'll shoot him, right? So that looks like what's going to happen next from where you are.
Do you have this? This is just a technical question. Do you have the sawed-off set up now that I've shot 2 shots where I'd have to reload it? Or is that just not programmed in yet?
I don't think that's programmed in yet.
Okay, well, I'm going to RP it and pretend that instead of reloading, I'm actually going to step over to... I want to walk over to Cox here, and I want to beat him with the shotgun like it's a bat.
Yeah. So... You would it was outside of your movement range because you already moved there. So
that's right.
Yeah, but do
okay,
a charge.
you know what?
No,
Here,
no,
we'll
no,
do this.
No,
I'm
do
going
a
to charge him. I'm going to charge him and slide into him like he's first base.
Beautiful. All right, it's beautiful. That's very thematic. Yeah, and thank you. I was just going to say we can try the charge, and you're already 1 step ahead. So let me pull.
I thought about it, but he had rolled off. So yeah, I'm gonna slide into him like he's third base.
All right, so charging. When attempting to close the gap, character may use to charge them. Use both actions below to essentially perform 2 moves followed by an attack. So there's no bonus, there's no C mods like plus or negative to this, right? Like you'd use both of those actions, but you'd end with an unarmed combat attack.
Okay, so I'll be right next to him and unarmed combat. Ooh, we're rerolling that.
Wow.
Did you just try to add another dice and it took you down again?
It did.
I'm going to talk to Matt just to double check that, but it feels like the Distemper dice are not playing along this evening, right? It feels like they're rolling low, and now that could just be you, Emmy, or Bull.
Yes. No, it's just me, but I worked it out, so there we go.
Ah, beautiful.
Just barely.
Ah, beautiful. So let's roll damage. You still didn't kill him.
Oh,
No,
man.
but I fucked him up. Probably threw him off his aim. Since I just threw all 200 pounds of me at him.
Yeah, so again, like he's woozy, right? And his gun is like moving around a little bit. So that was it for your moves. So this guy is going to use his first action. Oh, boy. This guy is going to use his first action to get in. He already had his weapon readied. I'm going to say.
I see him now.
Say that again.
I feel like I see him now finally.
Yeah.
And
So
now I have oh shit eyes.
Yeah, he's gonna make. It wouldn't be an intimidation attempt. Hold on one second. I put a couple of new moves in here, or a new couple of combat actions. He's gonna try a distract, right? So essentially, like he comes in and starts waving his gun at Ball and at Emmy. Sorry, a Ball and at Luther, and starts like shouting, like, you know, like get down on the ground, stop moving, stop fucking around, right? So he's going to use this. There isn't. He can't force a player character to do anything, but he is going to try a distract. So I can make an intimidation, tactical, or perception check, and on a success, I have distracted you, lose one of the combat actions. All right, perfect. So this guy is making an intimidation attempt in essence.
So what's the opposing check to that?
There isn't. So this would be. It would be both of you. Oh, hold on. So this one's at Luther. Oh fuck! Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I had group check set up. Yep. So he got a success against Luther. Oh, I wish you could see this. I can post it in chat. Let me turn this off so you can actually see the outcome of these. I hate it when you've got like. Honestly, I hate GM only dice. It makes sense when you couldn't see the characters, but other than that, I like you to be able to see what I'm seeing. Right. So he just got. I just read your comment, Luther. So Luther, you lose an action next round. Because his distract works, right? So let me roll this against Emmy as well.
Subtle. Where'd the guy come from?
Shut up, shut up, shut up. Get down on the ground. Like, again, just forcing you to split your attention. Yeah, he didn't get it. It looks like that was still GM only. I don't know if you saw it, but he got a fail, right? So he didn't have any effect on Emmy because Emmy's, you know, neck deep with this guy. But Luther, you lose an action next round.
Ouch.
Oh. So.
Oh, I keep seeing the next turn, and I'm like, oh, Luther's going to be able to save us. Oh, wait, no, it just reorganized.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went to a new round. So I'm just trying to decide who. Oh, and the system finally recognized that mercenary died. So I think he might not be in the initiatives going forward, but neither here nor there. Bull, he's going to fire at you, right? You're tackling him. Yep. So I think that he would shoot you with his pistol.
I'm here to protect. Oh God, what is with his? Oh, that guy. Oh, I think.
Oh shit! No, that was the wrong one. That was the wrong one. It should have been this guy. So let's ignore that.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to you. Yeah. Ignore that one.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Hold on. No. I'm not having that twice.
Click. Oh yeah. Oops, I forgot.
Hold on. This is from me not setting the character up correctly. Is idiot peon? I'm okay with doing that too. But he's highly trained, like special operative. He wouldn't do that.
I'd agree with that one.
Gun just won't shoot.
Exactly. Just won't die, Emmy.
Pull the trigger harder.
Oh, still failed. Look at that. So that was his first action. Second action is going to be, again, trying to shoot you. Oh, dear.
Nope, that was me on me again.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I'll fix my health.
Thank you. Oh, hold on. It was the API is broken again.
That's alright. I got back though. Back up to 14.
All right, so finally,
As the god rays shine upon. Oh, fix my.
Yep, he got you. It wasn't a wild success, but he got you.
I shot me with my own shotgun. I think it's about time to get a wild one.
Yeah. So I just shot you. I did 6 damage. So I'm not sure if that was taken out of your.
No, it looks right.
All right, perfect. Over to you, Bull.
I'm gonna grapple him.
Do it.
Let's see. Whoops. We're gonna go unarmed combat because I want his ass. Oh, it didn't tell me to do. Okay.
Try that again, because again and I'll let you have a success, but more for rolling the damage. Did you not click him, or did it not ask you to click a target?
I think it didn't ask me. Oh, because I hit it on my character sheet. That's why.
Yeah. Do it from the menu above.
Cancel. There we go. Okay, so unarmed attack to douchebag McNuggets. Wait, wouldn't I want to do it for my sheet? Because I'm trying to grapple him, not actually hit him.
Oh, I thought you were actually trying. Oh, are you trying? Sorry, I misunderstood. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm trying to grapple him. That's why I did the unarmed.
Yeah. So.
Or no, I need to do the physicality.
Yeah. I mean, like he's pooped, right? I mean, so like you're a 6'5" ball player. You're tackling a mercenary that's been shot a couple of times, even though his tactical vest stopped like the bullet from going all the way through. You got a success on this, right? I mean, if you want to try and deal him some damage or break his neck or whatever, you can. But if the goal is just to subdue him, like he can't put up much of a fight at this point. Like he's so injured. Like I mean, you'd be able to overpower him in a heartbeat.
No, at the moment I'm going to grapple him around the neck. It just hold him for the first action, and then I want to intimidate the other guy that just showed up.
So how are you going to fill in the gap? How are you going to intimidate him, or what are you going to say?
Drop the gun, or I'm killing your dude here. I'm killing your leader.
So yeah, so make an intimidation check with a +2 C mod. It took a while for that to come up. Yeah. So this guy is I mean, he's looking to Cox for an answer, right? I mean, he can see that, like, I mean, Cox is dripping in your arms, right? I mean, like, you'd be able to kill him without really putting too much effort into it, but you're also using him as a bit of a meat shield, right? So this guy really doesn't know what to do, right? So he's kind of moving his gun from you to Luther and then back again because he doesn't know what to do. So your intimidation worked. Luther, the distract worked on you last time, so you only get 1 action this turn, right?
Oh, okay, just one action?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. It's not too bad.
All right, I'm going to try and listen in, but I got to run to the bathroom real quick.
Hey, no worries.
All right, so he has Cox dealt with?
Correct.
All right. I guess I'm going to have to shoot Mr. Black Hat over there.
Yep. So get a +2 C mod.
All right, nice.
Because he's presenting it like a standing target, and the moonlight's there, and you can see stuff glinting off him, right? And he's not taking decisive action. So, all right, beautiful. What the? Wait, what is this? Did you roll your distemper dice, or was that a moment of low insight?
No, I didn't click the distemper dice. I don't know why that rolled.
Me either, but let's take it. Like I'm getting ready to close the session out, so let's take it.
All right. Smack.
All right, so
Take that, Snake Eyes.
Yeah, so Deandra bleeds out. Yeah, breaking point, whatever.
Bird.
Clinton's already dead. Um,
How's he looking now after that?
Oh, you shot a bird.
Yeah, he no, we shot a Dwayne is what we shot. He's, I mean, in terms of like overall health, I mean, he's still looking okay, right? I mean, like anytime anyone gets shot, there's a moment of confusion and pain or whatever else, but he's still standing, right? So, like in terms of like, did you finish him? No, like it looks like you're gonna have to go like, you know, toe to toe with him at least one more time. And with that, it says go. So he is gonna take a shot back at you, Luther. Oh, hold on. Did the AP die? Yeah, the API died again.
Go easier. Your mama won't have nothing to look at in the casket.
Funny, I was thinking about Reservoir Dogs today, and Harvey Keitel says to someone, if you even dream about shooting me, you better wake up and apologize. All right, so that was his first act.
You know, out of all the movies that are classics that got hyped up to me, Reservoir Dogs is one I actually liked.
I agree. So he missed both times, right? So
I'm Batman.
Yeah. Okay, Luther, you are Batman. Over to you. You get to move first this round.
All right. Last time there, Mister.
Are you gonna intimidate him or distract him or just shoot him? Like what is?
I'm shooting him.
Oh, beautiful. All right, have at it. Oh, look at that. Yeah,
I don't know what happened there, but
you killed him. Well, he needs to be stabilized. It's you become incapacitated and then you die after a couple of rounds, right? So he's mortally wounded, meaning if somebody doesn't stabilize him within 5 rounds, he'll be dead. So he's just bleeding out, right? So combat's over, right? So Bull, you still have this guy. I was going to say you have Cox in your arms, but it didn't sound quite like I intended. It wasn't what I was trying to say, right?
Oh,
so
man.
I know.
It didn't playing ball.
The game has gotten good tonight.
Yeah. It took an unexpected turn, right? Didn't it? So he kind of, I mean, he's laying there flapping in your arms, and he's like, "All right, you fucking win." Oh God, I keep saying it. I'll put a link into off topic.
Blasted in your arms right now, right?
Oh man, there was a documentary on English TV 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, about a guy that had a penis grafted onto his arm.
I heard about
swear
that.
to God, and I haven't watched it yet, but I read one of the news articles about it, and he said that the worst part about having a penis grafted on your arm was hugging your grandmother at Christmas. Like that's what he said, and it was just like, oh yeah, you heard it. Exactly, like a penis onto his arm. Like I'll send a link to it. It's in like a proper, like they made a documentary about this.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
And you have to weigh the pros and cons of that, you know?
The news article I read said, I'll find it. It said literally the title was something like, "This is a documentary that will make you proud to be British." And I was like, no. Like any documentary about a penis grafted onto an arm, I'm not feeling any pride of like regional like location and butt. You know what I mean? Like
not at all.
All right, so back to the story so we can wrap it up. So Cox is flopping in your arms. Right? He says,
"Stand him up, get him a rep."
Exactly. He's all flaccid. He can't. He just like anyway. So, he says,
everywhere.
Yeah, he's trying to spit at you the whole time, right? But he says, yeah, I know. Sorry. So he says, all right, you win. Like we heard you idiots talking on your radios. Like we thought we were going to get a drop on you, but I'll give you credit. Like you were better than me and my men. So I and frankly, It was a month ago, so I didn't expect you to remember it. But when Franklin, Steve's son, came to get you from the farmhouse, he wouldn't let you use the radios, right? So when you started talking to William and when you radioed back and said you found their site, they've been listening to you all the time. So they thought they were going to set an ambush or like be able to like just sneak up on you. But like this guy gives you guys props because at least, you know, like you again, 4 soldiers just snuck up on you, and a ball player and a small town sheriff or a Texas Ranger have managed to take out 4 of what he considers to be heavily trained mercenaries or highly trained mercenaries. So he's laying there kind of like panting on the back, and he looks up and he says to you, "So what now? You just going to kill me?"
Well, it depends.
Depends on what?
You know, I had a conversation I was going to have, but I forgot about it with all this dick.
Clear your head. Get the dick jokes out of your mouth.
Oh.
Dick's out of the hand. I can't.
Sorry, Mina. So do you remember what you were going to say to him?
No, I'll start with a witty comment about who needs protection now.
Yeah, he kind of laughs at you through a mouthful of blood and says, "Oh, you think you're so fucking funny." He said, "Where do you think the rest of my men are right now?"
Not saving your life.
Perception check?
While he's talking to him, can I start searching these other bodies real quick?
Sure.
All right, I'll check out big guy over here.
What the hell was I going to talk about? I don't know. I was going to ask him if he was actually serious about all the bullshit he was spewing this morning.
What bullshit? Which part?
The part about actually trying to do something with this town, this area.
Yeah, I mean, again, like he's laying there, like coughing through blood, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, like I wasn't lying about anything that I said today. Like the world is getting darker, the world is getting smaller. Like there's enough food for people to live indefinitely, right? If you could find enough supplies, like you know, a small enough group of people could last forever or last for a while. But he seems pretty earnest when he said to you." But it sounded like a pretty good offer, like partnering with you people rather than just killing and taking stuff. Maybe we could have built something.
Yeah, no shit, but maybe acting like the mafia wasn't the way to go, you piece of crap.
Yeah, so again, coughing through blood, and this is where we leave it for the evening. He makes a comment to you, and he's like, "You still don't fucking get it, do you? There were 4 of us here. There's another dozen heading to the town right now."
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Curtain drop for the evening.
Oh, snap.
You did see the comment where I said Emmy's contemplating using the radio.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, somewhere up in there, after like the first gunshot, I had Emmy's biting her nails, contemplating using the radio.
Yeah, so that's where it comes through, right? So thank you for that bit of color, but that's where we end the session because Ellie comes through and says, "Luther, Bull, are you guys okay?" And that's where he laughs and says, "Well, she's not going to be okay. Like, there's another dozen of my men heading to the town right now."
Sorry, I just read through.
Oh, you're so bad, Mina.
All right, I guess after that comment, I'm just going to give him one last whack with a sawed off across the face and hope it kills him.
So it knocks him unconscious, right? So I mean, you'd have to take a specific action to kill him if you wanted to kill him. But right now, he's like, I mean, he's close to being dead because that, you know, a blow to the head on top of everything that already happened. But he is still breathing.
Yeah, I'll end that. We'll decide later.
All right, and that's it for this evening. Now you two are going to have to figure out how to save the town next week. And Emmy, you're about to have a rude awakening.
Yeah, so dude, you did a great job this week. Holy shit. Was not expecting this at all.
Hey man, like so kudos to you guys. Like this, for what it's worth, I have like 4 pages of notes, and like none of it got used this evening because of you fuckers, right? So I have 7 pages.
Is that good?
I have 5 scenes written out.
Gives them more time for next time.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right? 2 things like I called them scenes and unseens, right? So it's like stuff that was going to happen. We played out one of the scenes that I'd written down because you guys wanted to take it in a different direction. So I appreciate you giving me kudos. But man, it was all you, right? All I'm doing is reacting to what you guys want to play. So Trojan, man, sorry, I feel like we totally abandoned you back in the house. Like, wasn't intentional there or back in the town. But I really enjoyed this. I love playing with you guys. Thank you.
Thank the trooper. It's a good thing I came along.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Trojan's going to be wandering around, so he's going to spot the bad guys first and then have the jump on them and kill them all. So he's got this.
Trying to think how this would have gone if Ball wasn't here, at least. You would have 4 guys jumping on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he'd have been captured, right? So, again, or beaten to death, right? So, and again, like it's just why I'm enjoying playing with you people because it, and I just posted that link for you, Mania, the whole one that says TV that makes you proud to be British. No, it really doesn't. So again, like this was just not what I had intended because I really thought you were going to end up fighting with them in the town or trying to set an ambush, not trying to like seduce them with an idea of working together. This was awesome. All right.
That was our bait switch.
All right, I love it. Now I've got to figure out how to tag another adventure onto this because you just managed to kill the big bad and all of his troops or a bunch of his troops. So I'm going to set
isn't that your worst nightmare as a GM? Like, you kill the big baddie way too early? It's like if you play Metal Gear Solid, there's one of the bosses. He's just sitting there having a conversation, and if you hurry up fast enough when the conversation's done, you can just snipe his ass from across the thing, and then they have to redo his boss thing where it's just, a bunch of squads of regular guys in the areas where you'd be fighting the boss.
Hey, all you've done is forced me to figure out how to tag a story onto this. So thank you for forcing me to improvise. I mean, this is fucking great, right? This is why we play these games. If we didn't like this aspect of it, we would play a board game where there's no surprises and where the rules are very well defined, right? But frankly, like building a shared narrative with people like you and I don't know, this is super fun. Like telling this story to you. This is why I play these games, you know?
Yeah.
I always tell DMs, when they're asking for advice, expect your players to surprise you because they always will.
Yeah. That's the beauty of these games, right? You're playing with real people. I used to play the game EVE Online, for anyone that knows what that is. And the devs used to, they used to revel in the fact that like as soon as they put a new system in place, a bunch of criminals were trying to hack it, right? And so, they always had this mentality of like, hey, like, the players are always your worst enemy, and they're always going to be your beta testers that are going to find the bugs and like the source, like the holes in the code and everything else. I feel that way about you guys, right? And again, like that's the joy of playing these games because you don't know what's going to come next. But with that said, sorry, go on.
Has anybody tried putting out a documentary or a collaboration of what's going on in EVE? I've had some friends tell me about it, and it sounds super interesting, but it's like such one of those so in-depth things. It's like, I don't think I could wrap my head around trying to get into it because it's so in-depth, but some of the stories of like, literal, the microcosm of life has happened in that game with different factions and different groups going and warring with each other and doing trade wars and stuff. But I feel like there could be a compilation of just a story of what's gone on in the history of EVE from the player's perspective.
So
I think it was from EVE that they actually had to expand. What do they call that? Spreadsheet programs, because EVE needed to push them beyond their limits of what spreadsheets could do already. So it actually made spreadsheets better.
Because of EVE.
The EVE players need this in our spreadsheets, so now we got to put this in our spreadsheets.
So my wife actually said to me once, because I was talking to, like, when we first started dating, I was talking about one of my hobbies, and she said, but spreadsheets, they're your hobbies, right? And I was like, no, I just play a lot of EVE Online for exactly what you're talking about, right? So there are 2 books, and I have both of these, right? But I'm sure there are YouTube channels, but someone's actually written and like put these on Kickstarter, right? But somebody's written 2 books called Empires of EVE. That's all about the player-made stories, right? Because EVE is like no other game I've ever played, like single shard, like single server, so everything takes place in the same existence, right? there's no rules, right? So you can scam people, you can like PK people. I mean, it's just like you can do horrible things in Eve, and it's all condoned and sanctioned by the devs because they've tried to create this microcosm of humanity, and they gave it a very complex
space like Star Trek.
Yeah. Oh man, I lost years of my life playing Eve Online, right? And I don't regret it for a second. It was a brilliant like only two MMORPGs have ever really pulled me in. One was Star Wars Galaxies because it was Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my god! And I started playing that again this week with my 6-year-old boy because I was showing him some screenshots and he said I'd love to play this game. So he and I have been playing on one of the emulators, right? Playing Star Wars Galaxies again.
Yeah.
Man, it's just like 20 years ago. I played hooky from work for like 2 hours on Friday. I blew off a meeting so I could grind in the deserts of Tatooine to buy my boy some equipment. It was crazy.
As it should be.
Gotta go farm those crate pearls.
That's what
Well, no, it's like crazy too. It's like one of those things that's like brilliant because you just let life play out. But it's one of the things like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna miss out if something big happens. But then a buddy was telling me, he's like, no, these two factions were going at it. They were fighting literally for like a week straight. Like it was like. You just started picking up Battlefront, like in Star Wars, where you just did campaign across the galaxy. No, it was exactly like that. That thing spanned so many worlds, and then another one broke out, and it merged in with this one. And I'm like, what? How?
So in SWG, we would actually like make fun of the Eve players because they had no real character; they were just ships. Like, so what does Cybering look like in Eve? To be like opening Shadow Bay. Docking ship. Oh, we just have big old laughs about that.
So, like, there's actually a value to, and this goes back to 2014. There's probably more now. So, like the currency in Eve, like they like again, they're really clever, the developers, right? So they knew people would buy and sell the currency because it happens in all MMOs. So they created, you can buy like using in-game credits.
Posted.
So using in-game credits, you can buy time, right? So you can buy like a game card for 30 days of playing by spending credits, right? So it therefore translates into the real world, right? So some of these battles literally cost like I mean, $200,000 is this one point. And this is back in 2014. There have been a lot bigger battles since, right?
Yeah.
But again, they can put a value on it because they can say, well, one game card equates to, say, 50,000 credits. So therefore, if we total up all of the ships, wow, it cost you $200,000 to buy enough cards to be able to fund that. It's crazy, like truly crazy, the shit that happens in Eve, right? But again, it only happens that way because it's a single shard, right? Like if this was split out into like 30 different galaxies, they're all exactly the same, and you had to pick one to play on, like every other MMORPG, it would be very different. But the fact this all takes place in one place, so there's one shared history, and frankly, like the guild I was in, or the corporation I was in, or actually the alliance I was in, used to have a series of space bases that we abandoned. So I'm pretty sure I could go back into Eve now, 7 years later, and still find those space bases, right? Like, because they would just get abandoned as like structures and become like. So it's just crazy to think about like the scope of this. Anyway, neither here nor there. Eve was a very, very impressive game. It still is.
Yeah, I hate to tie you up, so I probably should let you go.
Yeah.
We could talk about this all night, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think this is what you and Battersby do when you play. But I am going to go and say goodnight to my wife because I can hear her moving around upstairs and getting ready for bed. Guys, I really enjoy this. Like, I'm so grateful that, you responded to the playtest ad. I look forward to Alcatraz next week, and I'm looking forward to figuring out what the fuck is going to happen from here on out.
Yeah.
We'll play it by ear, I guess.
Beautiful. All right. Yeah, sorry, Trojan. Sorry for leaving you in the city, but that's where all of the action is about to move to, as a dozen well-armed soldiers are descending on you. So speak to you all next week.
All right.
Bye.
Good
Thanks,
game.
guys. Yeah, likewise. Thank you.